All right, time for show. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Play ball with Dave in the city, Kevin on the Cape, and the most baseball talk anywhere. This is Locks of the Week Radio.
Coast to coast, internet sports talk. Locks of the Week.
Doc Rivers continues to time and time again not get it when it comes to getting... Oh! Let him play!
How Connecticut are you? Are you wearing khakis and a polo? Regarding Lynch, who cares? What was he going to do today? Was he going to address each report? Oh, thank you for the question.
Cap ran through the entire Yankee lineup, but he left out one guy, and his name is Alex Rodriguez.
I like to try and forget about him because.
From Los Angeles, this is Dave in the City, brought to you by Locks of the Week Radio. Now, here's Dave Medina.
Good evening, sports fans, and a pleasure to have you here for the big Wednesday show. Good to be with you from the Dave in the City studios in sunny Southern California. And it's a big day for California in total, especially the Bay Area. The Golden State Warriors win the NBA Finals last night, and they are the 2015 NBA champions. So it is good to have you, all of you, with us on this special NBA Finals recap podcast. Tonight on the program, we will be joined first by Ari in Philadelphia. We will talk about baseball in our first hour, but not for a little bit. We'll get into that in about 13 minutes. Then in our second hour, we'll be joined by Tom in New Jersey. Unfortunately, Andy in Seattle cannot make it with us tonight, but we wish him well anyway. And we'll tell you all about this really, really great NBA Finals. I mean, every game was close. Every possession was a big deal. And the Warriors looked like they were completely done. They turned it around huge after Game 3. It looked to me like, and that's in hour number 2, but coming up at 10 o'clock. The Warriors came up big in this series, and ultimately at the end of the day, you recognize why an NBA Finals is 7 games, best of 7. This series is the reason they do 7-game series. The Warriors looked so bad in 3 games. Steph Curry looked completely defeated. Klay Thompson was struggling from the field at times. There was one game where he played really well, but there was another one where he didn't. The bench was not coming through. Guys were not making shots. They were scoring really the playoff season lows, the worst playoff scoring outputs for the Warriors in games 1, 2, and 3. But Steve Kerr made the adjustment just like he did when they played the Memphis Grizzlies, and they were similarly shut down in games 1 and 2. And they were down 2-1. And they came out of that, and they came out and they won in 6. And by game 6, there's a lot of parallels between the Memphis series and this one. By game 6, they were on the opposing team's floor, pretty much beating them handily. Granted, in this case, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, they made a run of it, and it got pretty interesting towards the end. But there's a lot of similarities, and it really comes down to what Steve Kerr did, making the proper adjustment of going with a small lineup. And key to that small lineup, Andre Iguodala, who hadn't started a game all season, hadn't started a game for most of the playoffs. It was finally, after Game 3, that they put him in the starting lineup as part of the small lineup. Also key to the success, Draymond Green. And obviously, as a result of the small lineup, we did not see much of Andrew Bogut during the remainder of the series. And that lineup change, along with Iguodala's terrific play, earned the Warriors a win in Game 4. Iguodala was key to that win, because I noticed that even though the Warriors had much better control of their offense in that Game 4, Steph Curry was not shooting great in that game. He was better, but not great. And you look at Game 5, and it was I think that's when he finally started turning it around. But Game 4, he was still, like 4 for 11 from the field into the fourth quarter. Into the third quarter, as they were wrapping things up. So it wasn't really like his problem was solved right then and there. It took more time, but he was improving. And you can see that his stroke was falling, and he was hitting the three-point shot. Game 5, it comes together again. And the Warriors eventually outdo the Cavs, and suddenly Dellavedova does not look good in this particular game. And he didn't in Game 4 either. So things are starting to fall apart. And eventually, the cream rose to the top. Curry finally got his stroke back, and that was bad news for Cleveland. And the Cavs did mightily to take what was, by every account, a limited roster and make a great NBA Finals out of it. And it really was. LeBron James was good for a triple-double almost every night of the series. And he was also good for over 30 points in the majority of his games. His shooting percentages were not great during a lot of this finals, but he did turn that around too. And it seemed like he would be in line to win the MVP of the finals because he seemed to be playing the best out of everybody on the court. With that said, the NBA did not decide to select LeBron James after Game 6 concluded and the Warriors won the championship, but that was how it ended. The Warriors eventually won after a little bit of a scare late in the fourth quarter. Steph Curry gets his ring, Klay Thompson gets his ring, Steve Kerr gets his ring as coach, and Iguodala key to that to a degree. And it really came on about Game 4. And so the NBA recognized that, and rather than having a bit of a PR explanation on their hands, trying to explain why would we give the NBA Finals MVP to a losing participant, they decided instead just to go give it to the best available player on the Warriors. It clearly wasn't Curry. That would have been a disgrace, actually. I mean, you could have seen it. You could have understood it, but it would have been bad. Like it wouldn't have been right to give Steph Curry the NBA Finals MVP. He looked like garbage for 3 games. You couldn't do that. So the next best thing was to give it to the next best available player. It couldn't be Klay Thompson either because he was off and on in the series as well. So the next best available player was Iguodala, and I think that was well played considering the circumstances. If the NBA went with LeBron James for the Finals MVP, I think a lot of people would have gone with it. They would have agreed with it. It would have made sense, and you could have understood it. And so LeBron doesn't get it because it would have created. I guess you could make the argument that it would have created an awkward situation. LeBron was way out of there. I remember after the game, you could see him walking in the tunnel, dejected. This is the sign of the heart of a champion. I mean, the guy wants to win. And he's out of there. He's way out of there. So imagine if Adam Silver announced that LeBron had the NBA Finals MVP. He'd have to come out. He would be in his underwear at that point. He'd have to go all the way out of the tunnel and accept the award. See, that would have been strange. So this is the best thing they could do in the situation. They gave it to Andre Iguodala. Have to be a bit of a Jesus freak. I didn't realize that. But comes in, accepts the award, and he played a pretty good series, especially towards the very end. And so the theme of the keys to winning this series for Golden State were the move to a smaller lineup, the willingness to double on dribble drives from Cleveland, and I mean they never really did stop LeBron. That's something that's key. They never really actually stopped him in the series, but what they did was they kept the damage from getting really, really crazy. And I think that's huge. So Dellavedova also fell apart, which if you really think about how he was looking at the end of Game 3, you could see him wearing down. He was starting to get exhausted. What happened to Dellavedova was actually predictable. Like, he really started wearing out. And after a while, you start to realize, yeah, this guy was like a borderline D-leaguer. Once you get right down to it. I mean, he was, I wouldn't say borderline D-leaguer, that's not fair to him, but he was not going to be holding up the rest of the series. That was not realistic. So, And eventually it happened. I mean, he checked into the hospital overnight for dehydration issues, and he came out of there. We already spoke about that last week, and he really wasn't the same after that. I mean, even in Game 4, even though Curry didn't have the numbers, he was running right around him. Same in Game 5, same in Game 6. He just wasn't effective anymore as a reliable defensive option. So Dellavedova had that one end on him pretty quickly. And then what was left? I mean, throughout the entirety of the series, J.R. Smith had his moments. He could make shots occasionally. He was not a reliable choice. Iman Shumpert was making big shots in the wins that they had. But the rest of the series, he really wasn't that good. Offensively. And no one expects him to be. He's more of a defensive guy to begin with. And the rest of the team is just pretty much worthless. Like, they lost Kyrie Irving after Game 1. That was really their best other offensive option. He was gone, which did bring the rise of Dellavedova, but nevertheless, it was only a limited window that he had of effectiveness. Beyond that, it was pretty bad. I mean, Timofey Mozgov was the other big option that was tearing it up early on in the series, but the Warriors figured that one out pretty quickly. The double was key to that, I think. But ultimately, the team just didn't have the horses, and that's why the NBA Finals is best of 7, because the better team always wins the finals. Even when you see a team that you didn't expect to win the finals, and that happens once every 20 years, you come to find out later that team was the better team anyway, and that was the case here. And it was a season. It was definitely a season that Golden State worked really hard for, and they've mastered it big time. 67 wins in the regular season. They've taken care of business every time that they could take care of business. The Warriors played hard. They played smart. They didn't play great a lot of the playoffs, but they were able to figure out how to respond to adversity. This was a great team. And the Warriors winning a championship is really cool. I've never seen it. I mentioned it last week. I mean, this is the first time since in my whole life that they've even been in an NBA Finals, and now they've won it. I just think it's really cool. I think it's great. And I'm happy for the fans up in the Bay Area. These guys really deserve it. They are there for basketball. They love the NBA. Bay Area guys are huge on basketball and college too. Basketball is just a big deal up north, and it doesn't really get mentioned a lot. But it's a great basketball hotbed. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot to offer in terms of NBA players that came from the Bay Area, but the two biggest notables, Jason Kidd and Gary Payton, both of those guys, if they're not Hall of Famers, they're pretty good. They're close to. I think Payton is a Hall of Famer. If he isn't, he should be, but in due time, in my view. So, great players, but the passion enthusiasm for the game of basketball is a big deal. And you've seen games in Oracle. This is years and years before the Warriors were this good. You've seen the Warriors play to really enthusiastic crowds, and it's been a joy to watch that. They really get into these games, and yeah, maybe they don't always have forward thinking in terms of team management, and they cling on to players and want to stay with them even though they're not that good. And a good case of that is Monte Ellis. Jacob has told me about this on and on. But bottom line, these guys love their team. And I think this is for them. This is for the Bay Area, continuing the recent trend of great success for sports in Northern California. And where you saw the one second, we're going to stand by for a sec.
To hear important instructions,
we will connect now to our call system.
Press 3.
Let's see if this works.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds.
All right, so at any rate, we have the Bay Area has loved this team for years and years and years. before they really were good enough to be love-worthy. Now they've really come on strong. They've looked really exciting for quite some time. And I just think it's fantastic. I just think this is great. I'm really looking forward to this. Now I'm going to see, we have our friend Ari on the phone. Oh, we probably lost Blog Talk Radio, but we have our friend Ari on the phone. And I'm going to try to connect this together. I hope this will work. Oh, no, don't do this. This is what I was worried about. But let's see if we have Ari checking in for us tonight. Ari, are you there, sir? Are you there?
Can you hear me, Dave?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can, sir.
That's great. Okay, terrific. So we got you on the line, Blog Talk Radio's host, but we're not going to worry about that right now.
Can anyone else hear us, or is it just you and me shooting the breeze tonight?
No, others can hear us on YouTube. We're fine.
Up. Okay,
yeah, YouTube are solid. So, anyway, Warriors, great. Congratulations to the Bay Area. We'll continue our conversation about the NBA Finals in our second hour. That's 10 o'clock Eastern for those of you waiting for that. But right now, we chat about baseball. Here's Ari right now with us on the line, sounding pretty good. Maybe a little fuzzy, but not too bad. I mean, it's not like it wasn't like it was a few weeks ago. So, Ari, welcome to the show. What's new with you? How's the baseball going for you?
Baseball's going great, Dave. If this mic is fuzzy, I can switch to a different mic.
I think it sounds pretty good. I'm listening to it now. It sounds all right. I'll keep you posted on that. Let you know how it goes.
Because I can't hear myself, so I'm going to trust you to tell me if I need to unplug.
No problem.
Yeah, baseball is going great. It's going exactly the way I predicted it when I was on your show last time. The Red Sox are in first place, and the Angels are in first place, and everything that I predicted is coming true.
I know. Things have been turned on its ear a little bit, but it does happen. It does happen with these predictions. Baseball can be unpredictable that way. I mean, because a lot of it's based on pitching, and the pitchers get hurt, and things like that can happen, and then all of a sudden the whole season changes. And the teams you don't expect are up there when you previously see them there. So it happens. And the top story in baseball today, wow, the Cardinals being investigated for hacking, literally hacking into the Astros database. The FBI is on the case. This is pretty surprising for a team that everyone talks about as the model franchise and the class organization. And what I'm understanding is that this started during spring training in Jupiter, Florida. It happened in their Florida headquarters, and the question right now is whether it's just a few jokers in the organization who did it, or whether this was known in the organization, and the higher ups just simply were keeping it under wraps, similar to what the Patriots did with Deflategate. So. There was an announcement made apparently, but I didn't get to see it. What do you have for the latest on the Cardinals hacking scandal?
Well, the Cardinals made a statement today. The general manager, I think it was, John Mozeliak, made a statement that he says if what is alleged to have happened, it is a terrible thing, and we're going to get to the bottom of it, and we're going to find out who in our organization, if anybody, did this, and they will face the consequences. So they are distancing themselves from whatever happened. What I've been able to see is that the general manager of the Astros, Lou Now, used to be an executive in the Cardinals organization. And I think what happened is as simple as somebody who worked in the Cardinals organization knew what his password was.
Wow. As simple as that. Did we lose you, Ari? Oh. All right, we're gonna keep him on hold while we get him back. He has some pretty good information, but glad to have you with us. If you're listening to us tonight, let's get him back on the phone. There we go. Got him back. Is that you, Ari? Are you still there?
Well, I'm here again. Not still, apparently. Well, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, go ahead. We got to the point where you were talking about that the Cardinals pretty much were trying to distance themselves from the investigation, from the whole affair. They seem to think that it's a rogue incident, and it's probably not it is not an organization-wide practice. So All right, fair enough. We will see if the facts bear that out. Anyway, go ahead.
I think and the Astros were singled out because of who the general manager is. He is a former executive from the Cardinals, and I think they tried to quote unquote hack into his system because they thought they knew his password, and apparently they did know his password because from when he worked there, they knew it, and he didn't change it. So, shades of the movie Spaceballs. Trying to get into the very, very high-tech, high-level security that they apparently put on their system with the same password that the guy not only used when he was with the Cardinals, but told people while he was there. So that's how much of this is his fault is yet to be determined. Still, you don't do this, and you don't go in there and read their files. And it's even if it's easy, just because it's easy doesn't mean it's not a crime.
Yeah, that's funny. So his password must have been something basic like password or password 123 or Astros 123. Yeah, you're right. It's like that's dumb. So this is not nearly as evasive or frightening as the Sony hacking situation back in the winter.
No, I read today a sports writer who tweeted out why he decided not to use the word hacking to describe this.
I see. Well, that's good thing. That's a good thing then. If they're downplaying the term hacking, it wouldn't be. Yeah, that's a fair point. Because if you just knew somebody else's password and you just used it, that's not hacking. That's just basically using their password.
Yeah, it's still a crime.
Yeah.
You're still having access to things you're not supposed to have access to. The question is whether, from a technical perspective, it's hacking.
Right.
Probably not.
And I can tell you from I'm familiar with the tech world, and that's not hacking. That really isn't hacking per se.
They didn't even try to brute force the password or guess the password.
Yeah, he knew the password. So it's so that's good information. And so thanks for filling us in on that, Ari. Very good. We'll see if that bears itself out. Definitely a bad mark for the Cardinals, but probably not on the scale of where Deflategate was, and not on the scale of of any other hacking incident or other kind of.
I think this is a much
security.
worse act than what Deflategate was, but Deflategate had much more important people involved.
Right. Good. That's a good point. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, but what I mean to say is that it seems like this is more of an isolated situation, and as you mentioned, the people connected with it had a history in the case of Deflategate. If it were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and it was like two guys that nobody heard of, and the same thing happened, it would be a one-day story, and people wouldn't even know about it. So definitely context is key with that, and here the same thing.
At the same time, we shouldn't downplay it. It's a federal criminal investigation.
Yep.
That's not to be minimized.
Oh no, that's a good. No, I think that's fair. The FBI on the case, it's serious. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays. What they end up finding. I'm sure they said that the investigation almost concluded. Did I hear that? Are we close to that?
I didn't hear that, but that might be.
I'm sure they haven't finished yet, but I saw that I saw that somewhere. I don't think they actually have stopped investigating yet, but the FBI is not commenting on this story. Messages seeking comment were not returned, according to according to ESPN and the New York Times. So, yeah, I just like that this puts a big dent in the whole thing of the whole class organization moniker that we give the Cardinals,
Best organization in baseball,
yeah, I know,
best
right?
fans in baseball, best hackers in baseball. It's everybody loves to revel in some misery for the Cardinals because it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I relish every opportunity because they've won.
Especially you Dodgers fans.
Oh my God. Oh, it's like being slapped on the. It's been like getting kicked in the butt every single time. In October, it is not fun. So I think it's a little bit of comfort after going through such horrendous Octobers dealing with the Cardinals of late. This is Ari in Philadelphia with us tonight, and
Met fans have history with the Cardinals as well. In October.
Oh yes, back in the 80s,
many more Octobers ago. In 2006.
Oh, that too. That's right. Yes. LCS. Yeah. Yeah, man, that was quite a heartbreaker, that game.
It sure was. But, 9 years ago now, but it still hurts.
Yeah, I got you there. One thing that always bothered me, I've talked about this already, but Evan not having a problem with the Cardinals, that's just proof positive he's too young. Because, I'm surprised even the 2006 thing didn't bother him. He's like, but I don't think the Cardinals are a hated fan. Dude, I mean, come on. Maybe you're just not following the team that closely. Because, how can you stand them?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody who wins too much is going to be hated, right? Everybody hated the Yankees, and everybody hated the Jordan Bulls.
Yep.
You get a backlash.
Mm-hmm. Miami Heat.
The Patriots.
Yep, that's a good one. Who is it now? Let's see. Giants? I guess. Are people hating on the Giants? I guess we were last week's October. I remember that. The Kids Club hated the Giants. They were done with the Giants.
They're 3 times in 5 years. So, yeah, it's the time to start hating them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're becoming a bit of a dynasty of their own.
Everything seems to work out for them.
Yeah.
Every marginal prospect they bring up seems to work out.
Yep.
These 2 middle infielders they have now that nobody's ever heard of are leading the league and everything. So.
Panic's a pretty good player. I've seen him play. I mean, last year he was all right. And
yeah, he's good, and Crawford is good.
Yep. Well, it's
they
good
just
to
seem
see
to
him
be
healthy.
able to pick these guys.
Yeah, definitely. So they've done a pretty good job of development overall, and they still have some questions with their pitching, but the lineup seems like a fun lineup right now. And this is interesting because losing Sandoval last year, a benchmark player for their offense, it hasn't hurt them yet the way I thought maybe it would have. But it also points to the fact that, as you alluded to, Sandoval probably is on his way, is starting to regress somewhat anyway, although the stats don't show that right now. I saw him get some pretty big hits. Let me ask you about Sandoval. Where do you see him on the Red Sox lineup right now? Is he panning out for them as it stands today?
I was looking at his numbers the other day, and his splits are remarkable, especially considering he's supposed to be a switch hitter. His numbers against righties, I think it's righties, are really, really bad. Now I'm gonna have to look, but so his splits are, he's doing okay from one side of the plate, and from the other side of the plate, he's a disaster. So what I was thinking is it looks like the Red Sox might have to create the world's most expensive third base platoon between Pablo Sandoval and Hanley Ramirez, who is a disaster out in left field.
Yep.
And so I don't know. Together, those are their two their 2 big offseason signings last year, and they are one of them is not working out defensively, and the other one can't hit lefties. So yeah, that's Pablo Sandoval against lefties is batting 131. Hold on one second.
131.
Yep,
wow.
131 with a 159 on base percentage and a 148 slugging percentage.
Wow.
Against lefties. He is against lefties. He's a disaster. He is. Let me give you some more numbers. He is 8 for 61 against lefties this year. So
8
that's
for
what
61.
8 for 61.
Oof.
8 for 61 with a walk and a hit by pitch.
He got one walk. That's impressive.
1 walk, 1 hit by pitch, 7 singles and a double.
Oh boy! Wow.
In 63 plate appearances.
Wow.
So he's doing nothing against lefties. Against righties, he's hitting 320. So and he's a switch hitter. He just can't hit right.
Yeah, he is a switch hitter, but he's not doing the switch. He's not balanced enough to earn the switch hitting status. So
I saw a story the other day. He actually tried to hit left-handed against a lefty the other day, just because he's been so bad against the lefties right hand.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how that went. We'll find out.
Yeah, I didn't see the results of it, but I mean, the guy has never done it professionally, never hit a lefty left-handed, so it's not, just because he hits righties left-handed and it works doesn't mean he's going to be able to hit lefties left-handed, which he's never done.
Right. Well,
so he looks like he needs a platoon partner. David Ortiz also can't hit lefties anymore.
Dang.
He looks like he needs a platoon partner.
So he's finally
Both of those
falling off.
guys, you would think might platoon with the same person, who's the guy out in left field right now, Hanley Ramirez, who can't play left field. Their pitching is a disaster, and they're just terrible.
Wow.
And, what we talked about when I was on the show during spring training was their pitching looks bad, but they're the Red Sox. They have a lot of assets to go out and trade for somebody in the middle of the season. They're not going to go trade for somebody in the middle of the season when they're 10 games under 500 and in last place.
Yeah, and they're buried right now, 8 games behind the Rays for first place in the American League East. All right, well, let's stay in the East. Let's continue our conversation. Ari in Philadelphia is with us. We were chatting about baseball, and we just spoke a while ago about the Cardinals hacking scandal. It's turning out not to be a huge scandal, although it's a bad, egregious act, but it's not necessarily hacking. Now we continue with our MLB recap. The Blue Jays are a team I have looked at here and there. That's a fun team to watch. They can't be taken seriously because, like the Red Sox, their pitching is pretty bad. But they are 8-2 in their last 10, although they lost their last 2. So what do you think about the Blue Jays lineup against what their pitching has to offer? It's a good lineup, right?
I've been watching the Blue Jays for the last 2 days because they're playing against the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
So they came in to the Mets series having won 11 games in a row, and they're hitting the tar out of the ball. But the pitching is suspect. The pitching is kind of Jekyll and Hyde. They've got like late 30s guys, and they've got early 20s guys. They don't have anybody that's in their prime. But they have kids, and they have old guys. They have R.A. Dickey and Mark Burley, who's starting for them. Their pitching is not great. I don't know what they have in the minor league system to go out and make a trade, but their offense is so good that they might be able to afford to make a trade of a major league hitter for a pitcher and still be able to compete. I'm just looking at the score here. It's now 8-0 Blue Jays against the Mets.
Dang!
Yeah, it was 2-0 when I called you. So
that's a potent lineup, yeah.
That's not good. I mean, yeah, they're playing these interleague home and home series. Baseball's doing that all across baseball this week. So the Mets are now in Toronto after playing 2 games against the Blue Jays in New York, and it's 8-0 Blue Jays in the 8th inning. So
wow,
that's their lineup. I mean, Josh Donaldson is a beast. Bautista's a beast. Encarnacion hasn't been great, but he's been good. Jose Reyes at the top. We all know what he can do. That's a lineup. I saw a stat the other day, though, that the Blue Jays only have 1 win this year where they scored fewer than 4 runs.
Yeah, that pretty much tells the story right there.
So, all of their wins except for 1 were from the offense. The pitching didn't gut them through a 3-2 game or a 2-1 game. They've done that 1 time. They were about to win a 3-2 game against the Mets, but then the Mets came back and walked it off against them. So it's still only the 1 win all year, scoring less than 4 runs. So, but they're right back. They're right in it. They're mashing the ball. Josh Donaldson's having an MVP type year, and the rest of the division is nothing great. So, they can stay in it.
Yeah, they're in it now. I mean, 2 games back. Again, it's hard to really make an evaluation of where the standings are when you've only played, about less than half the season. But we're getting pretty close to the halfway point, and the All-Star game is underway next month. So let's go to the Central. I mean, again, the Rays and the Yankees are at the top, but like you said, it's a weak division, so it's really nobody's really the front runner. All we know at this point is that the Red Sox are woefully out of it. But even they could come back with a hot stretch and a 10-game winning streak. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the Rays look like smoke and mirrors. The Yankees look like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays can't pitch. So, this division, I think, is anybody could still win it.
Yeah, I concur. So now to the Central, where the Royals got out in front early, and they've stayed in front, although they're not necessarily running away with it. They're 11 over 500, but the Twins are 3.5 back. Now, that's not close, but it's not far either. So I should say, you could say, let's hear it for the Twins. And I really have not paid, in all honesty, I have not paid much attention to Minnesota this year. But with them having the All-Star game, this is a good start for their season. 4 over at 34-30. The Tigers have been disappointing. I mean, there's no way around it. That team has not really been what teams expected them to be. We certainly didn't think that it was going to be like a World Series contender right out of the box anyway. But, yeah, they've been pretty so-so. And then you've got the Indians and White Sox, who I thought the White Sox were going to have a good year. They look awful. 5 losses in a row. So let's look at a look at the Central. What are your takeaways from the Central Division so far?
Well, my preseason pick was the Tigers. That's not looking so hot.
Yeah.
They're still in it, but they just got, or they're about to get Victor Martinez back for the first time this year. Justin Verlander, they just got back, so they might be starting to right the ship here. At some point in one of these years, they're going to have to acquire somebody who can pitch out of the bullpen. I mean, it's years and years since Jose Valverde that they cannot pitch out of the bullpen. It's every year. I don't know why they don't fix it.
They haven't done anything to address that, right? I mean, every year, every offseason, like, get something, make a change, and they just don't even try.
But I mean, there are closers available this year for at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Papelbon's available. Aroldis Chapman might be available. So they could go out and make a big move here if they think it's worth it. If they think they're good enough. The Royals have 8 of the American League starting All-Stars, so they're pretty good.
Oh my gosh! I was hearing how bad that was getting. I hate when that happens. Like, I mean,
that is just ridiculous.
It is. It's awful.
It's ridiculous, especially since none of them actually deserve to start.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I don't know. It depends how you look at it.
Right.
I actually like to consider the second half of the previous season when I decide who I want to put on the All-Star team, because that never gets considered because the game is in the middle of the year. And so you basically picking the players who have the best first halves instead of picking the best players. So I like to look back to the previous year in the second half and use that in addition to this year to inform who I think should play. But so, and if you do that, then their outfielders, Alex Gordon and the other one whose name is escaping me.
Well, you had Gordon, you had Aoki last year, but he's on the Giants now. So
no.
He wasn't. Sorry. Outfield. Sorry. Moustakas?
No, he's the third baseman.
Oh.
But
I'm messing up all the positions. I'm not great with positions. Let me think. Lorenzo Cain.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yes. Lorenzo Cain and Alex Gordon should start. If you're looking back to the second half of last year, they had great second halves last year. They're not doing so hot this year. Along with Mike Trout, obviously, who's just starting the outfield. He's the only guy who the Royals fans are allowing to start who is not on the Royals.
Well, he better. I mean, he's good enough to represent 2 players. I mean, he's really good this year. Yeah.
He's really good every year, but the way the voting is going, it doesn't really matter who's good.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Royals are doing it with defense, with timely hitting, and with relief pitching.
Yeah,
Their starters are not great. They haven't been great, other than Chris Young, who is just astounding at his 36 years old. Throws 86-mile-an-hour fastballs and has an ERA under 2.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
So yeah,
wasn't he on the Mets at one point?
He was on the Mets at one point.
This
year, the Royals signed him to be the long man out of the bullpen, and they're paying him $675,000. So it's not like nobody wanted them. It's not like the Mets screwed up what everybody else did.
I completely agree with that. I mean, because he wasn't really getting it consistently as a starter. I mean, this goes back to when he was in San Diego, back to when he was with Texas. I mean, he was,
The Mets had him. He was rehabbing from a long injury for some of that time as well. So, yeah, there was an article today from one of the stat guys that Chris Young is the one pitcher who consistently bucks the theory that pitchers have very little influence over what happens to a ball in play.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the last 15 years, the theory of the stat people is to measure a pitcher's true talent level, you look at strikeouts and walks and home runs, and hits that are other than home runs are mostly, not entirely, but mostly random. So most pitchers have a batting average on balls in play between 280 and 320. Chris Young's is 230, and it's been 230 for every year since 2006. So
wow. BABIP is good.
He's the only one that seems to be able to actually induce weak contact on a regular basis. So, he's like the exception that proves the rule. So
why has he struggled if his BABIP is so good? Is it all the walks?
I think what they said today is that the stat-oriented front offices, everybody has stat-oriented front offices now, are looking at his strikeouts and his walks and his home runs, and they don't look so hot. Because they are looking at the batting average on balls in play and assuming it's luck, because that's what batting average on balls in play is supposed to be.
Right.
But for him, historically, it hasn't been.
Interesting.
So,
because you're right. I mean, there is luck involved. There can be luck involved with a bad bounce or a misplay.
There's luck. There's also skill of other, of people other than the pitcher, defensive skill, defensive coaching. So, all of that results in a pitcher having less influence than you would think, not no influence, but less influence than you would think on what happened, whether a ball in play is a hit or an out.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be zero influence because where the ball is in the plate has a lot to say about where the ball goes too. So,
right, and if somebody smacks a double to the wall, that's not the defense. That's the pitcher.
That would not be the defense. You're right.
But so it's not no influence, but it's the theory is less influence than it has traditionally been thought.
Gotcha. This is Ari in Philadelphia with us tonight. I'm Dave Medina in the city, and we have our MLB recap at the top of the hour. That means 10 o'clock East, 7 o'clock West. We'll be joined by Tom in New Jersey, and we'll continue our NBA Finals recap with the Warriors winning their NBA championship. By the way, their fourth NBA championship in their history, although most of those were ancient history. The last one in 1975, the fourth one last night. It'll be fun to talk about with our friend Tom. Unfortunately, no Andy. Andy is unavailable. He saw the sunlight, and he decided to partake in the Rays. And I can't really blame him. So let's continue our baseball discussion. The West this is a fun one. It's we thought this division was going to be terrible this year, and I think we look at it. It's pretty bad. I mean, the A's in particular are dreadful. I mean, they have looked really dismal, especially offensively. I saw a game where the A's had, what was it, a 5-0 lead? Something like that. It was they're up by either 3 or 5 at Fenway in the 8th inning. They gave up the lead completely, all in the same inning, and lost the game. I think they were up 3-0, and then they were down 5-3, and the Red Sox went on to win the game, and all the scoring was in the 8th inning. I'm like, that is amazing. You gotta be bad to lose a game that badly after being up for that much of the game. So, terrible team. Mariners are a little disappointing right now, but no, there's no way around it. They're disappointing. I mean, we don't know what else to say. They thought their team was going to be good. Not so. Angels, this is about what I expected. They're a 500 team. Rangers are outperforming what I thought they'd do. And that brings us to the Astros, Ari. The team that has been budding with potential over the last 2 seasons, and were projected to be a very good team. They're ahead of schedule. They are leading that division, and it's a month later, they're still leading the division. So I think that's great. They called up Carlos Correa a few weeks ago, and that's a big one because that's their highly touted prospect. And I want to know what you think of his play so far. I have not had the chance to see him up close and personally. What do you think of Carlos Correa so far in the infield?
Well, I haven't actually seen him. Okay. He's only been up for, a week?
Yeah, he's not long, yeah.
Yeah, so the Astros, though, have been... I'm looking at the Astros, and they have 29 players who have had at least one plate appearance for them this year. And of the 29, including players in NL Parks, only one has a WAR below 0. So they have 21 guys with a WAR above 0, and then they have 8 guys with a WAR exactly 0, and only 1 with a negative .1. So they have everybody is contributing something. They don't have anybody that's killing them, right?
No, you're right.
So
that's a good point.
Yeah, Carlos Correa's only had 8 games, 35 plate appearances. Is hitting .324 with a .529 slugging percentage, and playing looks like pretty good defense at shortstop as well. So he looks like a monster. Altuve is terrific again. George Springer is great. Chris Carter. This team, nobody picked them. Everybody thought they were a year away or 2 years away or whatever. Apparently they're not. Dallas Keuchel is terrific, one of the best pitchers in the American League. Colin McHugh, who the Mets traded for nobody, is pretty good as well in their rotation. So they look like a balanced team, and they're looking like they're going to make a run. And so now we're hearing rumors of the Astros starting to gear up to make some deadline trades. I've heard Scott Kazmir's name attached to them because they could use some starting pitching depth behind Keuchel and Colin McHugh. But they look pretty good. The Rangers, everybody wrote Prince Fielder off. He's having a great year. Finally has adjusted to being the DH, and he's doing very well. They look good. People are, they just brought up Joey Gallo. He's supposed to go back down when Adrian Beltre comes back, but the way he's hitting, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. They both play third base, so I don't know what they're going to do. And they have Fielder at DH, but he's supposed to be not ready. They called him up from AA, so he's never even played in AAA, and he's not supposed to be up this year. He's only up because Adrian Beltre got hurt.
Oh, that's funny. What a splash!
I don't know what they're going to do when and if Beltre comes back. But that's a good problem to have. You got two third basemen who are really good. They're pretty good. The Mariners have been really bad. Robinson Cano is really bad this year. Like, he's not just disappointing for him; he's bad.
Wow.
He is objectively one of the worst everyday players in the American League this year so far.
Wow, that's surprising.
That's not good. And
no,
he's in year 2 of his 10-year, $240 million contract. So you hope he bounces.
Yeah,
really
boy, that sucks. Boy, that's funny.
Really bad.
Anything you want?
Nelson Cruz has been good,
right?
But the rest of that lineup has not been good.
Let me just circle back to the Astros for a sec. I think there is reason for skepticism with the Astros. I mean, you mentioned their oh, geez, we got you staticky. Your mic's cutting out a little bit. Let me see if I can do something on my end, though, for you, Ari. One sec. I'm going to put you on hold. How do I put you on hold? What do I do? Oh, look at this. Can we add the Blog Talk Radio? Oh, never mind. Okay, sorry about that. All right. Okay, let's hear. How are you? Are you there, Ari? Are you with us?
Testing.
Okay. Sounds okay. So, yeah, the Rangers, a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. And going back to the Astros. So the reason for skepticism is because the team batting average is just pitiful. Like, it's like in the 220s. It's pretty bad. Like, it's like the bottom of the league. So the question is this due to even out? Is there a course correction coming? And I mean, I don't know. I mean, the rest of the division really isn't doing anything to make a run other than the aforementioned Rangers. Do you see the Astros hanging on to this lead? You said that they were poised to make a run. Do they have the staying power?
I think they do. I mean, their batting average, they're batting .238.
Yeah,
but
not great, but
not great. But you know what? Yeah, batting averages doesn't tell the whole story.
Yep.
They, they're slugging .419.
Now that's good. .419 slugging by the team.
They've got a .308 on base, which is not great for a player, but for an entire team, is not bad. I have them ranked, or Fangraphs has them ranked 13th in WAR among all 30 teams, for their position.
So upper half.
So
yep.
they're in the upper half. They're not an elite position player team. I mean, the Blue Jays the Astros have 8.8 WAR. The Blue Jays are first with 15.3, and the Dodgers second with 13.3. So that that tells you who the elite position player teams are. The Astros are not that, but their offense is pretty much league average.
And I think that at this point, that's all they really need. If they can get Feldman and company to keep it going on the pitching side of the field, they'll be all right.
Right, and they need to, they might need to acquire an arm in the rotation and an arm or two out of the bullpen or something to shore up the pitching side. But like we've said, the other teams in that division aren't doing much. At least not yet. I mean, the Angels' pitching is bad. The Angels, Mike Trout obviously is hitting. He's always hitting. Albert Pujols still is hitting so far. After them, they don't have very much. They traded Howie Kendrick to the Dodgers.
Yep.
They miss him, and they don't have very much behind.
Power's going out again just for a bit. I'll just quickly comment on the Angels. Even Garrett Richards, I think that's his name. Garrett Richards does not look good lately, and that is a big surprise. That is cause for concern, because if Garrett Richards is struggling, then what else is there in the rotation? That was supposed to be their best guy, and he got hurt last year, and the fact that he's not looking good this year after recovery is pretty alarming. So the Angels are definitely searching for answers. Would they be trying to make a move, you think, to improve that pitching with a trade? But then again, who would they trade? Who do they have that's tradable? You mentioned that their lineup is pretty thin. What is their next move?
I don't know much about the Angels minor league system. I know they sign a lot of free agents, so I know they don't get a lot of first-round draft picks. I mean, Josh Hamilton, the 1 year, and they're always signing these qualifying offer guys. So I don't know what kind of drafting they do, or what they have in the minor league system. Their pitching is, their second best pitcher is a middle reliever.
Wow.
Their best pitcher is C.J. Wilson, and their second best pitcher is Joe Smith, and then Garrett Richards is tied with that. Garrett Richards he's got a 3.59 ERA, which is not terrible.
That's Joe Smith, not terrible.
His
wife is amazing, beyond good. Her VORP would be great, and we speak, of course, of Allie LaForce, who is Joe Smith's wife, and so that's
an excellent job out of him.
Amazing job out of him.
But yeah, Garrett Richards walks 3.72 walks per 9 innings, which is not good.
Nope.
Oh, I didn't know this before. Joe Smith has pitched 26 2/3 innings this season, no home runs. So that's pretty good.
That's great. Wow.
Garrett Richards, he's only striking out 7 per 9 innings and walking 3 3/4. That's not great. So yeah, their pitching is not good. We all did, that's what we thought. That's not a surprise that their pitching is not great.
No, absolutely not. Nothing that we're seeing so far from the Angels. As I mentioned, they're 33 and 32, and that's about where we expected them to be right now. That's what they are. So, maybe it's actually nice that they are above 500 to take that a step further. But let us carry on with Ari in Philadelphia. I am Dave Medina. We are doing the MLB recap for the remainder of this hour. And so we have about 6 minutes on the NL. That sucks for them. We shortchanged them greatly. We'll start with the world's classiest Cardinals, who got a little chink in the armor to this, or we got a little dent in the armor. I should be more specific. There should be better language there. But a dent in the armor this week with the so-called hacking scandal. But on the field, they're doing great. Uh-oh. We lost Ari on the Skype. But yeah, on the field, they are doing great. The Cardinals, as we wait for Ari to rejoin us, the Cardinals are pretty much at the top of the pack, not only in the division, but they are at the top of the pack in the league. 43 and 21, and at this early stage of the season, they're already 20 over 500, 22 to be specific, and they won their last 5. There's no stopping this team. It gets done because of timely hitting and a balanced lineup, and a lot of the guys from last year are still on this team this year. Matt Holliday is still doing what he does, and that's just the beginning. And obviously, they're much younger guys. Colton Wong. You've got Matt Carpenter. It really hasn't changed a lot from October, and the pitching is good. I don't think Lance Lynn is good. I'm still disappointed that the Dodgers didn't do more against him. They really should have lit him up. That really made me mad. That game was actually on TV, so I was watching this. That made me mad. I'm like, they should have lit him up, and they let him off the hook time after time. That was a very disappointing game for the Dodgers against the Cardinals. But nonetheless, here they are atop the league, and really, for me, I don't see any reason why it's going to go any differently. With that said, the Pirates are matching them win for win right now. 6 in a row for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and good team themselves. So your thoughts about the Central. We'll get into the Cubs after we talk about the Cardinals and Pirates. So your thoughts about the top two.
The Cardinals, they're amazing. I mean, I guess we could say now it's from hacking into systems. But,
yeah, they got a little help.
or not hacking into systems. But they've lost. They lost Adam Wainwright. They've lost Matt Adams. He's out for the year. Matt Holliday was playing well, and now he's on the DL, and he has a torn quad.
Okay. So he's hurt.
They just keep rolling.
Yeah.
They just keep on going. I mean, they're amazing. Matt Carpenter, Johnny Peralta, Colton Wong, Yadier Molina.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Hayward is having a disappointing year. They traded Shelby Miller for him, and that's looking like a bad deal because he's a free agent at the end of the year, and he doesn't look like he's doing anything for them.
Yeah.
So that, one out of many moves that didn't work out for them. But, they're amazing, and they just keep winning. They just keep rolling. And the pitching is, you don't seem to like Lance Lynn a heck of a lot. But he's been good. John Lackey, who has been good. John Lackey, by the way, who is pitching this year for $500,000, has been very good. The John Lackey contract, I love. I love the John Lackey contract. They put an option when he signed with the Red Sox. They put an option at the end of the year, at the end of the contract, that says, if you miss a year for basically Tommy John surgery, we get an option at the end of the year for the major league minimum. At the end, at the end of the contract for the major league minimum. And so that's and the Red Sox traded him with that option to the Cardinals last year, and now he is playing under that option. So he is producing for them. He is 5-4 with a 3.59 ERA and 82 2/3 innings for the major league minimum.
That's impressive. But again, it's a situation similar to Chris Young, where nobody expected him to even really be that productive, and it just worked out. And that's the Cardinals. Things always work out with them.
Things work out. They got Michael Wacha is back. There. I mean, it doesn't end. It doesn't end with
really
them.
Doesn't.
They just bring up player after player after player, and they all produce.
Hey, you know what you remember that down period era that the Cardinals? Remember that? Yeah, it didn't happen. It's never happened. They've been good every decade. Freaking decade. 90s, they were good. In the middle of the 90s, they were good. In the 2000s, towards the middle, they were always making the LCS. And then, obviously, the last decade, they've been winning World Series. So they won in 06, too. That's right. Yeah, there is no down period for the Cardinals. And they don't do it with free agents or any of that. It's just amazing.
In 06, the two guys that beat the Mets were two unknown players by the names of Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright.
Wow. That's right.
So,
way back
and here we are 9 years later, and, those two guys might be going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, interesting. Wainwright would, and I do think you could make the case for Molina, because he's been really good and clutch, too. I mean, obviously, had some big hits in the recent vintage. So, yeah, good call on that. And I do want to talk about the Pirates, but the Cubs are more interesting to me right now, because I want to give the Cubs an attaboy for competing. They are looking good. I mean, we knew they were going to be good. We were going to be sooner or later. It was either going to be next year or this year. But they are a little bit ahead of schedule, but it's not truly surprising when you see that Chris Bryant got called up. And they called him up. Maybe they should have called him up earlier, but they tried to milk some money out of it, so they waited a couple days. They did
that service time dance that they had to do. They have now a 7th year of Chris Bryant because they gave up 11 days of Chris Bryant this year.
Yeah.
You have to do that. I mean, that's the stupidest rule in the world.
It is.
But if that's the rule, that they couldn't not do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it would
be baseball malpractice to have exchanged 11 days in 2015 for an entire year in, I think, 2022.
Yeah.
So they had to do what they did. It was 11 days. You know, if you're talking about 2 months, that's something else. But, over 11 days, they had to do that. And, now, but, what they didn't have to do is lie about it. Oh, he needs to work on his defense down in AAA.
Yeah.
And, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We all know, we know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. We're all adults here. We know what the rules are.
Absolutely.
But anyway. Yeah. So I mean, they look good.
They do.
They do. And John Lester hasn't looked great yet, so he should get better.
Yeah, I agree with that. He does get on national TV a fair amount because whenever I see the Cubs, a lot of times he's pitching. He pitched on Sunday night on the Sunday night game. He did not look very good there either. And but.
And Billy Hamilton lit him up, I think, for 5 stolen bases because he cannot throw to first base.
Yeah, he also can't bat. I think he's 0 for everything in his NL batting career.
Yes, he's 0 for 60-something.
Wow. That's amazing. That's fantastic.
I think in the most recent game, the pitcher, I forget who was pitching for the Reds, threw him a breaking ball. It's like, I've never had a hit in my life. Just throw it over the plate.
They're giving him no mercy. That's funny. That's great. We mentioned Chris Bryant to begin this conversation about the Cubs.
We shouldn't. When we're talking about the Cubs, we should not forget Anthony Rizzo.
I was getting to that. Anthony Rizzo is a big part of this lineup, and many have made the point that he's the one that's really fueling this offense, and he is. He's hitting .303. His slugging percentage is fantastic, .548. I mean, he's really good.
Tremendous.
Doing a good job. Yeah, he's been doing it for a while, but his power numbers are really, really starting to come on this year. So
yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for a guy named Goldschmidt, Rizzo would definitely he would be the first base all-star in the National League.
Wow.
Unfortunately, Paul Goldschmidt is just better than him, but he's been amazing.
He really has. It's been a great year.
They also brought up Addison Russell, who I don't think anybody expected to see this year. And they brought him up. And he's their shortstop of the future, but they have a shortstop of the present. So Addison Russell is playing second base, right?
Yep.
So, Russell's been good. Castro's been disappointing.
Well, he doesn't really hit that much. I've never really seen him as. I've always thought that he'd hit higher, that he hit better than he does. So I'm not really sure what the expectation was. Certainly, I don't expect him to hit 300, but. Yeah, you're right. I mean, he is disappointing, but I don't feel like the ceiling is that high with him in the first place. Like, what were you thinking he would do this year?
Right. Well, if you follow the Mets kind of Twitter people, they wanted to.
But who do they? I'm sorry, you're cutting out again. Oh, who would they want to trade for Castro?
Every pitching prospect in the Mets organization.
Really? Wow. Uh-oh. We got kind of losing the... we're getting a little static there, Ari. All you got to do, though, is reset your microphone. Like, mute your mic, and then come back, and then you'll be all right. Do we have you?
How about now?
Yeah, see, that's it. See, it's not that bad. It's all you got to do is just, like, you mute yourself, and you unmute, and you're good to go. Okay. So, yeah, this is a good team. Fun team to watch, and Wrigley's really undergoing a transformation. I don't know. It looks like a regular stadium now. I mean, at least the outfield does, with all the scoreboards now there. It's like, this is another stadium now. I love the intimacy of the old bleachers, but they have to do it. I mean, there's no going around it. Eventually it was going to happen. So, if Fenway did it, Wrigley was going to do it too. And here we are. And the scoreboards do look pretty nice. It's just that I don't know why they bother with that one in the middle now. I mean, the other scoreboards can do it, can put the scores up. Like, what do we need the other one for now? That, you know what I mean? Like the one in center field that they have the hand turn numbers and all that. It's useless now because the other two boards are bigger than it, and it can display all the same scores.
Yeah, it's completely superfluous, but I don't know. I guess they run ads on it.
I guess so. Good stuff. Okay, so let's see. Do you have Tom on? Oh, he's already on. Oh, whoops. Okay. So we've got 2 more divisions to break down, but let's just get your quickies on the West and the East, and then we'll wrap it up for the evening. Any thoughts you had about the Dodgers and the Giants? And the Giants are doing decently, although they've struggled a bit last week or so. they might be regressing the mean a bit, in my personal opinion. The Dodgers, well, the issue again, the bullpen. It's just so bad. I mean, Jansen is good when he's in there, but they cannot close games. And one thing about the offense of late, it hasn't looked spectacular. They've kind of stalled. But I think they're going to be all right. I mean, they're still, even after all this, they're still winning the division, so I think they'll be fine. The Diamondbacks are a team that I thought had been coming on strong a bit of lately. The Padres fired their manager. So there you go. So that's my take on the West. Your take on that and the East. Looks like the Mets are hanging in there, although they did look a little bit more pedestrian recently against said Giants. And the Nationals, well, you called this. You said they were disappointing, and, well, I think they're still going to be pretty good, but, yeah, they're not really what I thought they'd be at this point. So, West and East, what are your thoughts?
Well, West first. The Dodgers should be, as good as their record is, they should be even better if you look at the production of the individual players on the team. Mm-hmm. They've been even better than their record is.
Wow.
So, I mean, I guess part of that's the bullpen, right?
No, that's a big part of it. They cannot close a game. Well, not only the bullpen, but their starting rotation is pretty bad, pretty rough right now because really the only reliables at this point would be Kershaw, who did not have a good start this year. He was really struggling, and Greinke, who's probably their best starter at the moment. But Kershaw's getting better, and Greinke's fine. They've been having some nice contributions from Brian Balsinger and Carlos Frias, but that's sort of a wild card to me. So there are two of those wild cards. McCarthy was out for the season. Frias looks like he's not going to pitch. I mean, things don't seem to be positive. Every time I get an update, it's like something's nagging, something's happening. I don't think he's going to pitch the rest of the year. I mean, that's the way it seems to be going. Maybe he'll pitch for about a month or so, but not looking hot. So they're basically operating with half a rotation, which means they are depending on the bullpen, which leads to trouble. So yeah, they're probably losing about a third of the games that they could be winning because the bullpen is so bad. That's pretty much the summary of why they don't have the record, like a bigger record at this time.
Just one thing on Kershaw. He's prime example number one of how people who have great second halves get screwed out of the All-Star team.
Wow.
He is going to be on the All-Star team, but he is not going to start. I'm looking at his numbers, and I started looking at this yesterday. His numbers over the last 365 calendar days, so from June 16th of last year to June 15th of this year. Mm-hmm. Clayton Kershaw is 20-4.
Dang.
2.03.
2.03. Wow.
In 230 innings in 31 starts. Strikeouts per 9, 10.9. Walks per 9, 1.76. Home runs per 9.
Oh, we're losing Ari. But I did get most of those stats. Home runs per 9. What was home runs per 9?
0.51.
Dang! Pretty good. Pretty good.
So a home run every 2 games.
That's fantastic.
And he's not going to start the All-Star game because we only look at first halves, and his first half hasn't been so great.
Yeah,
but
that's
if
true.
you include the second half of last year,
Mm-hmm.
He's been unbelievable.
Very good. So now to the East.
The East. The Mets are in first place.
They are.
Which is astounding to me. It's June. Nobody. I mean, we all thought that they would be better.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't look that great. You watch them. They don't look that great. The offense doesn't look that great. Except for not today, but the last 3 days.
All right.
They don't look great.
Well, the game I did watch of the Mets, I agree. They did not look great in that game either. So, really, nobody in this division is looking great. The Marlins, I thought were going to be okay, but yeah, I guess they weren't really expected to be much, and they're not. they're way under 500. Braves are disappointing. There's no doubt about that. And we know the Phillies stink, so there's no... And I'm not really crying about that either. I love every second of that.
Not only do they stink, but you posted that article today, right?
Yeah, I did.
They're about to get worse.
Oh, yes.
They're about to trade anything they have that's good.
Poor
I just want to
Phillies.
say, for the Marlins, we all thought they were going to be good. They are not good.
Nope.
But this month, Giancarlo Stanton, in the month of June, is batting .393.
Whoa.
with nine home runs and a .964 slugging percentage.
This is not even the whole month yet.
Yeah,
That's
9 home runs in June. It's only been half of June.
wow.
So
That guy can rake.
yeah, he's unbelievable. But they don't have very much other than him.
Mm-hmm.
They are about to get Jose Fernandez back, but
That's good.
he's coming back from Tommy John,
Mhm.
just like Matt Harvey is,
Yep.
and he's had a shorter recovery period, so you don't know what he's going to be yet. But it might just be too late for them this year. So and I hope so. The Braves are hanging in there around 500, even though everyone thought they were going to be terrible, including them. They traded away everybody because they thought they were rebuilding, and now they're at 500. So,
Yeah.
But the Nats are, considering the talent level, they're very disappointing so far. And Max Scherzer is having a great year, and Bryce Harper is having a great year, and they're still not great.
Huh. Yeah, no. I mean, I was expecting more as well, and so that's
our buddy Cap's point. They have the guy who's about to win the Cy Young and the guy who's about to win the MVP, and they're not great.
Wow, that stinks. We just lost Tommy. I gotta see if I can get him back before oh, there he is. Okay, so that's
baseball's too much for Tommy.
Well, that'll wrap it up for the baseball report. Really great stuff. Good job out of you tonight, Ari. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for coming on. It was really a good time. I can't
Thanks
wait.
for having me, Dave.
You got it. Enjoy the rest of the season. We'll catch up, and we probably will do it again for the All-Star game. So stand by. I look forward to getting you back on the show.
Love doing it.
All right, bud. Take it easy. All right. Ari in Philadelphia. That does it for the baseball spot. We continue with the NBA, and let us get our call system back over on Blog Talk Radio. If you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, you didn't hear the last hour of the show. You probably heard a bunch of silence. But now let's get Tom on the line, and we continue now with our NBA coverage. Tommy, welcome to the program. I don't know if you heard anything we said over the last hour. Was it like silence over the last 10 minutes that you were on hold? Are you there, Tom?
It was very weird. I usually can hear the show.
Yeah.
And I usually can know what's going on, but I could only hear jazz music. I don't get why. It was weird.
Yeah. What happened was, that's funny. So I haven't figured out how to join a Skype call in progress yet. I thought I was going to do it tonight. It didn't work out. I don't care anymore about what you hear on the Blog Talk Radio feed because nobody listens to it. So I didn't even bother to try to rectify the situation, so I just let it go. But then I was realizing, wait a minute, when he calls in, what's going to happen? You're not going to hear us. So you're going to hear nothing for a while, and then all of a sudden we're just going to jump to you. So thank you very much for sitting through all that. That was kind of odd. I'll try to figure out how to do a better job of that next time. But I have to eventually figure out how to join a Skype call in progress because this will be key to us doing the show down the future, right? I mean, because if people want to join us on Skype, and you can, when you hear the show later, you'll see that Ari comes in really good on the Skype. I want to maintain that because then that way it'll be easier to get everybody on board. So yeah, sorry about that. But I'm glad to have you on. How's it going tonight, Tom?
Pretty good. I've used Skype before. I haven't in a while, but I would be interested in getting back into Skype. We'll see.
That would be
we'll
fun.
See how that is.
I would.
But other than that, I'm good. Wish the NBA finals were a little better. Expected very early on in the game. Expected very early on in the game last night that it was going to be over quickly.
Right.
No, but the finals as a whole were good. It was just you could tell Cleveland ran out of gas.
Yeah.
And you could tell after Game 5 that they had no chance in Game 6. But then you have, of course, clowns like Andy in Seattle who still take Cleveland and then get mad at me when I call him out on it. So, and of course he's not calling in tonight because he's busy. He's busy, Dave. He can't pick up the phone. I have other things to do. I tried calling him at work twice. He didn't pick up the phone. He's mad at me because I made fun of his precious little bet.
Oh, is that right?
And yeah, he's like, "Ooh, you didn't say anything about games 1 through 5 when I got all those bets right." All I said after the game was "LOL, awful bet" or something like that. He gets all pissed, gets all bent out of shape, acts like a little baby. Typical Andy, and now he'll be like, typical Tommy, because he shouldn't have said anything. And how do you like it when people make fun of your bets right afterwards? It's just one bet. Calm down. He even said so himself. It's not a big deal.
Well, it's not a big deal at the end of the day, but I did see your tweet, by the way, talking about predictions. You thought that the Cleveland Cavaliers had them handled. Like, you thought that Cleveland was going to take that momentum and keep going with games 4, 5, and 6, but it looks like it happened more like the Memphis series with Golden State, and they turned it around, and all of a sudden, as we both spoke, the Cavs ran out of gas, and they were just completely out of it by then. And Dellavedova, that was the beginning of the end for me. Dellavedova running out of steam, checking into the hospital, he really wasn't the same. Like, he was easily run around. He was easily handled by Curry after the fact. He was not shutting him down nearly the same way. So, this is a series that certainly looked really bad for Golden State in the beginning. You were right to think that this is a major concern, and I thought there was some major concern too, but I was waiting for Kerr's move. I thought he made that move in Game 3, but he didn't. It really started in Game 4 when they went to the small lineup. I don't remember if they did the small lineup at Game 3. Do you remember? Did they go small in Game 3?
No, they started in Game 4, really.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because, like, you look at it, and, like, there's no Bogut. You didn't really see David Lee come in very much. That Ezeli guy was only there sporadically. It was really it was a small lineup because nobody there was over 6'8". I'm like, wow. But this was a good team to do that against. So it was really the opposite strategy of what they did in that Memphis series. Because in the Memphis series, they went bigger. They decided to put two guys in there. They had Bogut and Barnes, both trying to guard the paint. Here, they went small, and they were just simply trying to outspeed them and try to run off the trap. So it was a very different dynamic, the way that they adjusted to this series. But that's why Kerr's such a great coach. He doesn't just do the same thing all the time. And I thought that was brilliant. And he stuck with it, and it worked. So that plus Iguodala's great play, taking advantage of that situation, was a big part of what made them run. So how did you see the Warriors turning it around? What did you see as their keys to success besides simply just switching to a small lineup?
It's quite simple. Cleveland didn't have the players.
Yeah.
Golden State had a 10-man rotation. Cleveland only had 7.
Yeah.
And of the 7, only 2, maybe 2.5 if you include J.R. Smith, first half in Game 5 and a little bit in Game 6. Outside of Mozgov and LeBron and a little bit of J.R. Smith, no one else did anything.
Yep.
Dellavedova was a joke. He was absolutely invisible the last 2 games. None of the commentators were really talking about it because I think they felt bad because they knew that he wasn't that type of player that could score 19, 20 points. And he was shot. I mean, he had to go to the hospital for
he did.
For what? Dehydration. So you knew he wasn't up to the challenge.
Yep.
And Shumpert, absolute joke. Absolute joke. I knew he was a joke with the Knicks. And then when he got traded to Cleveland, people were like, "Oh, now he's going to be a good player. He's going to be with LeBron. He's going to shine." He was absolutely awful. He makes the dumbest mistakes offensively. He can't score. And he's pretty good defensively, but that doesn't erase the fact that he can't score. He can't shoot. God forbid he makes 2 straight free throws. He probably did last night for like the first time ever. He can't even make free throws. I mean, come on. And everybody's killing LeBron last night. I heard a bunch of idiots saying he should have shot more. He shot like 30 times last night. What do you want him to do? He can't take every shot. He's got no legs. Absolutely no legs. And he's being forced to take jump shots. Did you notice every time that someone else was guarding LeBron except Iguodala, LeBron could just take him off the dribble easily and score 2 points? whenever Thompson was on him or whoever.
Right.
2 points easily for LeBron. But when Andre guarded him, Andre played great on him, and it was very hard for LeBron to get to the lane because Andre is a very big and talented perimeter defender.
Yep.
So that was frustrating to watch. And once Kyrie went down, you knew the series was in trouble. But then they went up 2-1, and you thought maybe they had a shot, but the role players did nothing. That was the problem.
That was key. And, I mean, there was not much to expect from them, but then they came up big in those first 3 games, and like, well, could this happen? Could they will this? Game 4 answered that question with a thud. And no, they can't, because eventually those guys are going to start shooting. Here's the thing. We can talk about how they were shut down in games 1, 2, and 3. One thing that you will notice, and I'm sure you did, watching the first 2 games, is that many of those missed shots were open looks. Curry had wide open threes that he missed in those first 3 games. By game 6, he was making those 3-pointers.
I think something that also is that Draymond Green, he looked healthy as the series went on, and he was awful in the first couple games. I mean, he was brutal. He wasn't making any shots, and he looked healthy. I mean, he had a triple-double in the last game. He looked good. Iguodala was making every open 3. He was getting open 3 after open 3. He's making most of them. Klay Thompson didn't do a lot, but they didn't need him to. That's the thing. Even the big guy, Zealy or whatever, he did something in the last game. See, Cleveland had none of these guys, and everybody's always killing LeBron, saying he should be doing more. And how is he the best player when he's lost four in the championship round now? And calm down. Like, they weren't even expected to win 2 games once Kyrie went down. And even with Kyrie there, I don't think they would have won. But I think LeBron proved that he was still the best player. I'm glad Andre got the MVP, even though I guess you could say Curry deserved it because he's the reason why Andre was getting all those open shots.
I didn't think Curry deserved it, though. He was so bad in those first 3 games. You can't give him the Finals MVP. I mean, I would, if they did it, though, I would have been like, okay, well, you have to put somebody on the team to get the Finals MVP. So it's one of those deals where it's like, if they did it, I would be like, okay, fine, I can live with it. But I didn't think he deserved it. I think this is the best available option other than LeBron giving it to Iguodala. Because you mentioned his defense. It was really good, and he came on strong offensively in games 4 and then in game 6 as well.
You're right. I would have given it to Andre too, but I can understand why some writers are like, well, Curry had the best numbers. What he averaged, 26, and he's the reason why everybody was getting open shots. I can understand that, but I agree with you. I think Andre deserved it, and I'm glad he got it. I'm glad they gave it to him because I was shocked they did. I thought they were just going to do the usual, give it to MVP.
Yep.
So I'm glad.
I am too.
Andre
It was a surprise, genuine surprise for me when they announced it, which is what made me feel very vindicated staying with the post game, because like sometimes you don't, like, you just switch out of it, like, okay, game's over, I'm done. But this was fun. This was a fun post game. Everybody was really into it, and I enjoyed all the speeches. It was a good time. And as we mentioned, the Finals MVP, a little bit of a twist this time, but a good decision. I thought it was pretty well executed.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing is Adam Silver is awkward as hell on the podium. Oh my gosh, he might be a great commissioner, but he's got to work on his on the podium, and he's just awkward. My God.
Yeah,
he's totally different. He's more awkward than Gary Bettman, and Gary Bettman I thought was awful at it. I mean, maybe he'll grow into it. I mean, it's only his second year or first year or whatever.
It's the second full year of commissionership. Yep.
Yeah, he should be better at it, but it's not a big deal.
That's a fair point,
about
though.
What he does behind the scenes.
Yeah,
but he is awkward.
Well, he doesn't have the smooth talking skills of Stern. Stern was really good at that. That's something I've always thought was great.
Yeah, he was.
Even when people booed him, he would just laugh it off, and he was great at that. Great media presence.
Stern had that arrogance to him.
Yes, he
that
did.
You could just you could just tell that he was like, yeah, I'm better than all of you. You keep doing, I'm still better than you. Like
Yeah.
he had that to him, that which pissed people off, but at the same time, you kind of liked it too. Like he is the commissioner, he is the leader, I guess. But yeah, Stern Silver definitely has to grow into that, and I think he will. He's a smart guy, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a good
He's got to
job.
work on his
He's got a
awkwardness.
great commissionership going. I mean, obviously, a lot of good things were already given to him. Like he inherited a very nice league. It was in good position, but he's done, even with that, he's done a tremendous job so far. It's just that, you know, the glossiness of his on air skill, so to speak, doesn't quite match yet. But that's not a big deal to me. I think he's doing a terrific job. Stern was definitely one of my favorites. So, I mean, you talk about commissioners of all sports. I think he stands out for me. He's been fun. Like, he was great for the NBA, and he was a fun interview, and he meant the business. Perhaps he let a lot of stuff slip under the table. He should have figured out the Donald Sterling thing when he had a chance. Give you an idea. But he did a lot of good to the league. That's all I had. That was all I was
Yeah, he really did, and it would have been interesting to see how he would have handled the Sterling scenario if it was him and not Silver. But I think he would have handled it pretty well. But the thing that Stern always got killed for was that he always made these rulings and didn't really give reasoning behind it, like the dress code. I remember that pissed a lot of people off, but I agreed with Stern. I mean, it's a business. You have to look the part too. That's part of it. You can't. I mean, they have all the tattoos and everything, but you gotta at least dress the part, and you can't look like a complete clown on the bench when you're not playing. And I agree with Stern there, but a lot of people like Allen Iverson and company hated Stern for that, and I can understand their point, but I always thought Stern was right with that. But then there were some other scenarios where they didn't, where Stern was completely on the owner's side, which he is. He's pretty much just another owner, but it seems like Silver does a better job of interviews and showing how giving more of the players an opportunity to express their voice is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Than Stern did, than Stern has in the past.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, that was what you were hoping for when you joined the NBA as a commissioner. You were hoping that he would bring new things to the table, and I would agree with you. He has done that for sure, giving the players a bigger voice, and I think it's a big deal to me. Tom in New Jersey is our guest tonight. We are recapping the 2015 NBA Finals. A very good Finals. I really enjoyed it, especially those first 3 games. As good of theater that you could imagine. 3 games, I think all 3. I think 2 of them went to overtime. The third one was also fairly close. It was a very, very, very fun Finals, and I love the matchup. And even though the Cavs really had a team, like you take LeBron out of it, and I don't even think they make the playoffs. I mean, that's just the kind of team it was this year. Granted, I think Umer made a good point on Twitter today that I think we always should remember. When the season started, this was not the team. When the playoffs started, this was not the team. This was the team by the end of a series of injuries, including Kevin Love early in the playoffs and Kyrie Irving after Game 1. So that's key. This is not going to be the same. This is not going to be the team next year. They better not be. I mean, some of these guys got to go. I mean, you were dealing. How many Knicks were on that roster? Like 2, 3. Mozgov. Yes, 3 of them. Mozgov, Shumpert, and J.R. Smith. That's at least 3. Are there any others?
And J.R. Smith already said he's going to opt out, which is weird because he's expecting $6 million. Where is he going to get $6 million in the open market?
Oh, that's ridiculous.
I don't know what he's thinking.
Yeah, he won't get anywhere near that much. He'll get 4 maybe, but that's it. Yeah, that's stupid.
He's not going to get more than 1 or maybe 2 years max because he's such a liability. You don't know what he's going to be like off the court. He's a clown.
He is a
clown. He does stupid stuff all the time between driving like an idiot and the pictures he takes on his phone. He's an idiot. I'm glad the Knicks don't have him anymore.
There's no debate.
And and Shumpert, we know what he is. Pretty good defender, but can't do anything offensively. I'm glad the Knicks got rid of him too, and I'm really sick of the Knicks fans constantly defending him and JR, and I'm glad they both showed their true faces in these finals. They were both a joke.
Yeah, I never really thought of them as reliable offensive players anyway, so I completely agree with you there. Let me think. Oh, so the other guys on the table. Mozgov's not going anywhere. I think he's a good asset. But there is Kevin Love, who I think is gone. I mean, there's people like, oh, well, he might go. No, he's gone. He's not staying. He shouldn't stay. I think if he stays, it'll be bad for the Cavs, personally. No, that was it.
I agree with you. I don't think Love stays.
Yeah, I mean, I think he will have a better situation anyway, wherever he goes. He was not really fitting into that offense, and his defense is so bad. It's so unlike a LeBron James team. That usually a LeBron James team has a good defense. So it was a good idea on paper. And, like, for example, if they had Wiggins, I don't think they would even have made the play. It would not have been as good of a regular season record. But this is for the best, I think, that Love tries to find a greener pasture. Could be with the Lakers, believe it or not. Which I have mixed feelings on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's funny is that they turned Kevin Love into a specialist, where he would sit in the corner and just shoot threes. And in Minnesota, he was so much more than that.
Oh,
and
yes.
He was rebounding a lot more and scoring 26 a game. I know Minnesota had nothing else, and it was just Kevin Love, but Kevin Love has more offensive game than just going to the corner and shooting threes. So I thought maybe in year 2 they might get a better relationship offensively with him and LeBron, but it sounds like there's very little chance that Love stays. And obviously the Lakers is the place that he's most likely to go to. He's from there.
Yep, UCLA.
It's a good marriage. He could do what he wants. Kobe will like that because they'll give him one more chance to go for the title run, and they'll have what's his name back, the kid from Kentucky.
They will have Randall back.
Julius Randle.
Yeah, that's great. He's a good and he's
they're gonna have their top pick.
I think that's gonna be. It looks like the signs are not pointing to Okafor. And I think that'll be fine. It'll be a good pick. I was looking for Towns, but it's not realistic at this time. I think Minnesota will get Towns, the Lakers will get Okafor, and you got a good front court at that point. So you have Okafor, probably you have Randall playing the 4. If Love comes to the team, he'll play the 5. Kobe at the shooting guard, and then the player, what was it? The rookie of the not the rookie of the year per se, but something like rookie point guard or rookie performer of the month or what have you. Jordan Clarkson at the point. That is, I've seen worse starting lineups. I think that's what I would say. To that.
You have the problem with them is that the league is turning into like a 3-point shooting league, and they have too many big guys.
Yeah,
that's the one concern I would have for them.
Right.
And Kobe doesn't really shoot threes.
No, well, he is. Maybe he does now. Like, he doesn't shoot threes that much. No, you're right. He's not a big three. He's not known for 3-point shooting. You're right. That is true. He's not known for shooting at this point. He's been pretty bad, but he's old. I mean, that's all I got. I mean, that could come around if he's healthy, assuming he's healthy. So we'll see. No, you're right. He's not a great three. He's not known for 3-point shooting. It's not like his strength per se. He can shoot them, but he's just not shooting a lot of them. You know. Not anywhere close to like Steph Curry with 3-pointers. So let's go back to the Warriors for a sec. This was definitely a really great team. It was something you could see coming. And the depth on this team was great. I did not like Mike saying that this was not a great team. You would have to be completely on another planet to not think this was a great team. This is a great team. I mean, you could blame the league if you want, but most of the bad teams are in the East. The Warriors played the good teams, and granted, they were hurt. Some of them were undermanned, but they played the would-be MVP James Harden in one series. They played a tough, rugged defensive team like the Memphis Grizzlies in another series, and they played one of the superstars of the league, Anthony Davis, and the Pelicans in the first round. You're gonna tell me this is not a great team? I'm not fine. I don't feel like that's fair. Do you think that this Warriors team is a great team, Tom?
Yes. They won 68 games in the regular season in the Western Conference. That it was absolutely brutal. One of the best conferences I've ever seen in my lifetime was that Western Conference this year.
Yep.
Absolutely great conference. I think I didn't hear Mike say that Golden State's not a great team. I'm not surprised. He probably didn't. He's probably saying that because Cleveland won 2 games with LeBron and only LeBron, and Cleveland had nothing else, and what do you expect? And Golden State was supposed to win that series, and the fact that they didn't sweep doesn't make them a great team. Come on. They won 68 games.
It's silly.
And none of their series went 7 games. They didn't have any problem. They were down 2-1 against Memphis, and then just wiped the floor with them for the next 3 games? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
4 games or whatever. But, yeah. I mean, come on. And, yeah, they had some problems against Cleveland early in the series, but games 5 and 6, you knew they weren't losing either of those games. And, I mean, they played very good, I thought. Maybe not great, but they played very good in the final.
It was yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't. Mike's just showing his age. I mean, he's one of these guys that likes the older. It's always it was so much better in the older days. Bullshit. The NBA is just as good now, if not better. I mean, those Knicks-Pacers series were brutal, and I'm a Knicks fan. That style of play was awful. Absolutely awful style of play. I mean, obviously it's not as great as the 80s Lakers and the Celtics or the 86 Celtics, but the NBA today is very good, and it's better than the late 90s, early 2000s NBA.
Oh, concurred on that. I mean, there's so much talent, and there's a lot of skill involved in today's NBA. I think that's what's really great about it. I mean, it's not as physical as it once was, but if you really think about it, the 80s basketball was physical in some areas, but it wasn't in others. I mean, you could just easily outrun guys just to get to the basket just like that, and guys would just take shots after like 6 seconds most of the time. So it's just like just 6 on one, half a dozen on the other. I think the league is in pretty good shape right now. I mean, yeah, it was pretty weak on the eastern side of the bracket, but the West was, as you mentioned, really, really deep. I mean, and if everybody was healthy, imagine that field. I think the Warriors would have won all those series anyway, but just imagine if, say, Aldridge was right and the Blazers were healthy. And imagine if Tony Allen played the whole series and he was good and Conley was in better shape. Imagine that. I mean, it was a very, very good conference this year. I think it's silly to even go on about how this is not a great team. That's still, I mean, anybody that's won 67 games in the NBA is a great team. Because you see, the other teams that have won 67 games, they were great teams. The 2000 Lakers were a great team. The Bulls won 72. That needs not be spoken any further. They were a great team. And great teams win 67 games or 68 games. It's really as simple as that.
Yeah, and I think the NBA has a problem. The only problem I could see is that the Eastern disparity between the East and the West. Silver's already hinted at that he might change the playmat format.
Oh man, I'd do it.
I don't think the owners will vote for it, but I hope they do.
I hope they
do
too.
Where they just make it 16, where they make it 1 through 16, and the conferences mean nothing. That's how they should do it.
Yep.
I don't expect it because the owners like the old way. They're always going to like the old way.
Well, I
But
guess they would
it's
cite
stupid
travel.
now the way it is.
Yeah, they probably would cite travel issues. Like, well, if we do this other way, people are gonna have to travel weird places all over the place. I'm like, who cares?
Just expand the season to like 2 to 3 weeks. Does anyone give a crap if the NBA season goes into July? Is it that big of a deal? I mean, to give the players more rest. They're never gonna make it less than 82 games. So just get rid of the 4 games in 5 nights. Spread it out more. Is it really that big of a deal if it goes into July? I mean, all you're going up against is baseball. Like, people like me. I like baseball.
I like
don't
baseball.
love it as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I don't love it as much as I used to, obviously, but there's nothing on now. What do we have to look forward to? The U.S. Open, which is great, but that's only 4 days. Wimbledon, that's coming up. What else? The All-Star Game, if you're into that. But summer is not great for sports. It might be the most overrated time in sports. It's not as bad as February, but it's especially July and early August. I mean, think about when the baseball All-Star Game's going on. There's nothing else going on. And then that Monday and Tuesday after the All-Star break where they have off, nothing else is on. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And what do we have to look forward to watch then? I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem with them expanding the season by a few weeks. Is it really that big of a deal?
2 weeks wouldn't really be a big problem. I would rather they just shorten the season, but as you mentioned, they're not going to do it. So
They're never doing that.
It's not even worth discussing, honestly.
That takes away money.
Yeah, that does.
Takes away money. They're never doing that.
No, they're not. You are correct. So, I mean, they could move it up, too. They could start it in October, start the preseason earlier.
I guess they could do that, too.
Yeah.
But do you think they want to go up against the Major League World Series? And
I don't think they care now. Do you think that matters now?
They probably don't. No, probably not. Because
World Series ratings.
The World Series ratings are never great.
Nope.
They stink now.
Yeah. NBA ratings this year.
Unless it's a premier team,
which
like
is
the
what?
Yankees or the Red Sox,
it's really
or St.
two teams.
Louis.
Yeah. I don't even think St. Louis gets those ratings.
The ratings are bad.
Yeah. I don't even think the Cardinals
I'm not
get
sure.
that.
I know St. Louis has a huge fan base, but
They
maybe
do.
they get
They do.
ratings.
But I mean,
don't know.
do they get it on national TV ratings? I wonder. Because
probably
I don't
not.
know.
I don't think
know.
the national I don't think the national numbers are ever going to be good.
No.
Unless it's late. I guess it's
I think they
Yankees
could-
Dodgers. It's not going to.
Yeah. They could be good, but they probably need to do some. They need to reassess what baseball means. I mean, it's always great on a regional level, which is why it's still going. Because it's the individual team fan bases are doing fine. If you look at it on Twitter, each fan base can get anywhere from like 400,000 to about 1 million followers. Yankees obviously have the largest following. They have like well over 1 million, and the Giants have a very good following on Twitter. It's really big, and the Dodgers are just a little bit under that with about 800,000, maybe about 1 million there. So, why can't they get them to care about the other teams? That's the question I think baseball is going to have for the next decade. Can they do it? I don't know.
That's the problem. Is that will you ever watch a game that's not your team? I know your previous guest already will because he's a diehard, but will you get your casual guy to watch a baseball game that doesn't include their team?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Obviously, baseball is not going away, and in the Northeast and my area, and maybe in your area, it's still very popular. I mean, on Twitter, it's every Met and Yankee game. Every night, it's still a big deal. It's still life or death with the Yankees and the Mets. And even with the NBA Finals on, I still had a ton of people who weren't even watching the NBA Finals, but they were watching their Mets and they were watching their Yankees. And that kind of annoys me, but they can do what they want.
They want
to watch
I
their
hear you.
team.
They
So
do.
that's fine.
That does not happen in California. I'll tell you that. That doesn't happen here. We do well. First of all, we can't watch the game, but even if we did get to watch the game, I think a lot of guys would be watching the NBA Finals around here. We love basketball. Obviously, it's a big Laker town, so I think in Southern California, we would not. That would never happen. Like you wouldn't be like you would be walking around and most of your friends would be like, "Yeah, we're watching the Dodgers and the Angels right now instead of the Finals." Like, really? I wouldn't do that. You obviously you're not doing that. So, but New York's a different animal.
What's funny is that at the board meetup at Stuff Your Face this past Saturday.
Oh wow, yeah.
There was a good time. They had 4 TVs.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 of the TVs had baseball, and there was 1 TV that had the hockey game on. So now think about how crazy that bar would have been with the Rangers playing.
Yep.
Now think about how crazy that would have been. There was no one watching that hockey game, Dave.
Wow.
No one.
Yeah.
Not a single person. And there were a lot of people in that bar.
Wow.
I mean, they were going back and forth, and I mean, not everybody was watching the TV in general, but the people that were, they weren't watching the hockey at all. They were checking out the Mets game in extra innings, and they were watching the Yankees. But yeah, it's funny how New York is. They're such a bandwagon city, and when their team is in it, they're all excited. But once their team is out, get it.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. That must be why the ratings for New York-based teams in championship series aren't really that good, because it's kind of a misnomer. People are, well, New York's in it, it's going to be a big rating. The one team that will do that is the Yankees, but the others not really. Rangers, can't speak to them too much. I have no idea. But the Knicks and maybe the Mets would not generate a huge TV rating on a national scale, because, again, it's kind of like it's all kind of inside of New York. You know what I mean? Like I don't think there's enough reason for other people to watch it. But over there, they'll latch on anything. Like you said, the Giants too. I don't know. Do the Giants have an impact on TV ratings? I don't know. What do you think about that? I don't have any information.
Football, I think any football team will get ratings now, Dave. The way football is king.
It is.
Everybody says, and
yep.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, all right.
It really doesn't.
We're at a point where the Browns are getting ratings. Good point. Okay, so let me ask you.
Well, think about it. Okay.
No, I want to hear this. So I'm thinking.
Oh, think about it. Like Arizona, freaking Arizona goes into the Super Bowl and no one cares. It's still football. They still want to watch the team.
Yep.
And Kurt Warner is the quarterback, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, even Tampa Bay could get into the Super Bowl, and everybody will still be crazy about it. And it's not the sexiest matchup if Tampa Bay's in it. Tampa Bay versus Jacksonville. Let's say that's the Super Bowl. It will still get a huge number. Not as good as a number as like the Bears and the Patriots or whatever, but it would still get a big number. And that just proves how great the NFL is right now, and they're doing everything possible to screw it up with Goodell as their commissioner, but it doesn't seem to matter. People still watch, and
they do.
As we said the other week, they're gonna be putting it on the internet, and they're gonna do those 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. games, because you got people like John in Connecticut who will wake up that early to watch the game, and it doesn't matter. They'll be on they have the luxury to be next to their TV for over 12 hours, and they don't have a girlfriend or a wife that's saying, get up, do something. So there's a lot of people who either dictate what they're watching, their wives are cool about it or whatnot, but there's a lot of people who can't do that. But the people that can, they're going to be watching the football for all day and all night.
Yeah, that is a story right now. But the NBA is not too bad itself. I mean, and it doesn't really depend on specific markets to be big. I think that if you can get a good team and a good story involved, and you get their NBA marketing machine going, you'll get a decent number on national TV as well. They promote the sport well. The NBA on Thursdays on TNT is a very nice television product. It is so it does a pretty good job. So why I bring that up because of this. I think if baseball were to get its shit together and organize better promotion and work and find a way to showcase its game more and its players and just get people more interested in it, it could eventually get somewhere close to where the NBA is right now. Maybe not exceed it, but get there in terms of national TV ratings. That's been my thinking all along, but they've got a lot of work to do. They got a lot of fundamental things they got to change. You know, the way that you interpret the game, the perception, the pacing. There's a lot of things to do, and they're inching towards it, but they've got a ways to go.
I agree. I think you put it perfectly. Did you watch the Triple Crown race?
Oh, the Triple Crown, Belmont. Yes, I did. I did see the Belmont Stakes. And it was...
Now, let me ask you this.
All right.
Oh, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that was it. I was going to say, I watched it. It was great.
Let me ask you this then.
All right.
After the race, were you as excited as you thought you were going to be when he won?
Yeah, I was. I was, I don't know how you're going to answer. Now I'm intrigued to see how you answer this, because I'm sure you asked this for a reason, but... I was first. You know why I was because I didn't think he was gonna do it. I'm like, there's no way. We both of us were like, nah, there's no shot. Or was it Andy that thought this? I forget who it was. Was it you or Andy that said there's no way?
I thought no shot.
Yeah, you saw no. Yeah, it was you the no shot. Yeah. I thought no shot. I'm like, nah, forget it. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, I've been burnt too many times thinking it's gonna happen and it never happens. And so I'm like, forget it. I'm just gonna watch this thing and see who gets it. And then that guy. It was American Pharaoh, misspelling on the Pharaoh, but American Pharaoh was out in front. And I'm like, all right, this is early. Let's see, wait for him to get past. And then it's like a quarter of the way, and then he doesn't get past, and then the half of the way, and I'm like, he's still in front. Then by the time he gets to the 3/4 marker, he was way ahead of everybody. I'm like, he might do this. And then that's when I started getting pumped. I'm like, wow, like my skin was tingling because like when that happened, I was very excited. I took a picture of it and put it on Twitter, and I just thought that was really cool. So I was into it. I was into it towards the end because I was shocked at it actually happening. I'm like, is this really happening? And then he crossed the line, and you heard the crowd at Belmont. It was so loud. They were erupting with excitement. I thought that was great. So now to Tommy, what did you think? How did you react after the fact? Were you as excited as you thought you would be?
To a degree, I was. I screamed yes very loud at my house. I watched it alone for whatever reason.
Same. I did too.
Had no interest. My girlfriend had no interest in it.
Wow.
So I wasn't going to go there and watch it with her in the background and be like, who gives a shit? So I stayed at home, made a point to stay at home and watch it. I watched it alone. So I screamed yes after the race. And then I found myself like maybe 3 or 4 minutes afterwards. I'm like, okay, now what? Like, it was like, okay, so what's the next race? And then I'm like, oh, that's it. But then I thought to myself, okay, the Haskell, which is a big local race, and that's coming up in a month, and Farrell's going to race in it. And that's going to be at Monmouth Racetrack, which is about 5 minutes from me. And they've already sold out with most of the seats.
Nice.
The reserve seats. So they're expecting well over 60,000.
Dang!
To break the record.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I think racing is definitely going to get a boost. But it'll be interesting to see at the Kentucky Derby next year. Kentucky Derby is going to be big regardless. But after the Kentucky Derby, when that horse wins, whoever it is, to see at the Preakness, if there's still going to be the same buzz.
Right.
Like, oh, can you do the Triple Crown? Because there's going to definitely be people who are going to be like, well, there was just a winner last year, so who cares? And then if he wins the second race, well, after the second race, well, people will be like, well, we just saw it last year. Is it really that big of a deal? But hopefully they get the whole, is he better than Pharaoh? And who was the better horse? Because if horse racing gets that, then you'll get people who will still be excited. I thought Pharaoh got a lot of people's attention, but he wasn't like Smarty Jones or some of these other horses who had a better background story. These owners were great. I mean, they're running him again. They get it, but I don't know. It just seems like these guys have only been owners for what, eight to 10 years, and they've already won the Triple Crown. I didn't think the backstory was that great with this horse, and we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But I have my hopes up that horse racing becomes big again because I think it's a great sport.
It is a good spectacle.
It's entertaining.
Yeah. The anticipation is always
It's entertaining, especially if you go there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you have to put money on it.
Yeah.
That increases your interest. But I'm definitely looking forward to the Haskell coming up at Monmouth, and I'm definitely looking forward to the Kentucky Derby and making my bets, making my 3 to 4 horse bets, and losing my money like every other year, getting mad at you for making the stupid bets and going on your podcast afterwards and flipping out. I'm ready for it, Dave.
I'm ready too. Are you ready for football season coming up in a few months? We're only 2 months away now. 2 months.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Any changes that you want me to make for fantasy football? I've asked a lot of people on the board. Everybody has all been like, oh, it's great, it's great. Should I drop certain people and put it at 12 or keep it at 14 teams?
You need to make that thing
what
smaller.
What should I do, Dave?
You need to make that thing smaller. Even if it means I don't make the cut, make it smaller, even if I'm not in it.
Who do I cut? There's one person in particular I want to cut.
Oh, I know who it is.
D-Train.
Yes.
D-Train.
You didn't even have
I
to
know
say the name. You didn't even have to say the name. I already knew. But
he's not listening, so he's not even on the board. He has no affiliation with the board anymore. Right. He doesn't give a shit. Last year I had to remind him to join the league. He has another league. So I think getting rid of him won't be a problem. It's the other person. Who else do I cut?
LT's a waste of space on the
Or do
league.
I just keep it at 14? There's also a waiting
14's
list.
a lot, man. 14's a lot. It is a lot.
There's a waiting list.
Is there really? Sheesh.
There's like Benson's flaky, so he keeps saying he's into it. He wants to do it, but every year for whatever reason,
it probably wouldn't.
There's other guys who want to do it too. I'm not sure about Benson, but there's other guys who want to do it too. So and even people who I expected to be like go down to 12, like Johnny Connecticut and a couple of Andy and a few others, they were all like, no, just keep it the way it is. Keep it the way it is. And Pot Roast, who comes up with suggestions constantly throughout the year, and everybody thinks he gives me a hard time when he really doesn't. He's actually a very good owner, and he just follows consistently. He gives me good advice. He actually said, keep it the way it is.
Well, maybe do it for one more year. You'll get a better sample size. I think you could just boot D-Train and let somebody else fill that spot, and then we'll see, get a feel for how it goes.
90 seconds.
There are other suggestions Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, there are other suggestions I may come up with later, because right now I'm pretty far removed from football season, so I'm not really keen on on all the details of your league, so I would probably have a better read on that in about a month.
Yeah, because last year I had a couple idiots, you know who they are, who were giving me a hard time. You're not paying attention to the league as much. You're not doing enough for the league.
Right.
You should be doing more. It's the same idiots every year. You know who they are. I don't need to say who they are.
We've heard from them, I think.
So this year I'm definitely putting in more effort. We'll see how it goes once the season starts. I might be busy. So
Tom,
but right now I'm very into it.
That's great. That's fantastic. I do have one suggestion. Let us schedule the draft for a time that I think we could all agree to, and I will do my best to make sure I don't get blindsided. I forgot whether it was that bad this year. Maybe it was all right, but that's one thing to keep in mind. We have,
What time was it last year? 6 your time?
Yeah, it was like
10
I thought
seconds.
It was 5.
6 or 5.
I thought it was 5.
5 or 6.
It may have been 5:30.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
You want it later?
Yeah, like 6 would be fine. Like 6 would be okay. Would be just fine. And I will make sure I'm not at a Dunkin' Donuts when it happens either. So I'll be more careful this time. I'll pay attention.
Do you want it earlier? Or do you want it in September?
No. Okay, that's a good question. I don't know. That one's like one of those. I'll get back to you on that because I have no idea. I don't know.
I have vacation from mid-August until early September, so that's definitely out. The only thing I could do is early August, but then you have to think about. There's a lot that's too early. There's
too
much
early.
going on.
I wouldn't do it that early.
And you don't know. So I'm thinking like what I usually do: the day before the season starts, or a day or two before, even a day or two after. Like I always like doing it the Thursday of the opening day, but some people are like, I don't want to do that because I want to be able to watch the game.
That's true, because if you can't do it during the game, that's kind of tough. That's tough. That's tough to ask of a lot of guys.
You're right, it's tough, but it's also I think it'd be a lot of fun because everybody would be into it.
Well,
but another problem is that it's not like a traditional league where everybody's there. We're all in separate places.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeremy, LT, and myself are together, but outside of that, everybody's alone. So that makes it harder too.
Right. We're all over the place.
Did you like how much time do you want in between picks? I remember one year I made it like 30 or 45 seconds, and Pot Roast went nuts and was like, "This is bullshit. This is too much. I'm not getting enough time." Do you think 90 or 2 minutes?
90 seconds is fine. That's just right. Like 2 minutes would be too long. 1 minute would be okay.
Yeah.
30 seconds would be short. Yeah, that wouldn't really give you a chance. Like, what if you're on another tab? Like, you're browsing on another tab and it happens like that. So 90 seconds is just right.
Yeah. I agree. I think a minute and a half, but once you get to 2 minutes, you got people who wait till the last second.
Right.
And once you get to like the 9th or 10th round, no one cares anymore. Like, make your pick.
Yeah.
But you always have those 1 or 2 bozos who still take the 2 minutes, and they end up taking like one of the worst players.
Right.
I mean,
Pointless.
that's tough to take too.
Yeah. All right. Good suggestions. Again, thank you for offering those ideas to me, and I'm happy to help you out any way I can with the league. One question for you. Do we re-up the Kids Club picks when the football season starts anew?
Was I a part of the Kids Club picks?
Oh, you weren't. That's right. You weren't in on that. I'm sorry. Well, let me ask you. You're a third party at this point.
If you want it.
Well, no. I guess my question is, was it a good spot? I thought it was a good spot. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of work, though. It's a lot of crunching numbers. It takes me like an hour to do that. Maybe I'm not doing it very well, but I enjoyed it. It was fun to keep track, and it was a good spot. But now it's going to be weird because I don't gamble on sports anymore. I'm glad I don't. I haven't looked back.
Yeah. I think it's a good spot because you got a good mix.
Yep.
You got Checker, who's nuts and bolts. He'll give you every stat. He knows it better than anyone.
Yep.
You got Andy, who has a gambler edge, and he's funny.
Yeah, and
absolutely. He says a lot of quirky stuff, and he's a good guy. And then you got Otis, who's kind of in between. And did you have pitch and catch this past year or no?
No, it was Ron in New Jersey. It was Beebs last year.
He was very good too. He was very good, especially college. I thought he was the best at college.
He's so good at college football.
He really brought it with the college.
Yeah, that was great.
And I could listen to him talk about like the NFL draft and all that and players and stuff. I can listen to him talk about that for hours. Like on the board when he's talking about who the Jets should take and stuff. Like it's absolute genius stuff.
He's really good.
And he's great at it too.
Yeah. Completely agree. He's fantastic. It's an absolute gift to us that he's able to connect with our show because he's just so good at evaluating talent like that. He's really good. Fantastic. He
Yep,
could break down
he's
third
terrific.
stringers. He's just amazing. Ron in New Jersey, so good. I do want to get Pitch and Catch involved. I can't seem to get a hold of him on a consistent level. I don't even know. Maybe I'm on a shit list now. I have no idea. But I barely hear from him now. So anyway,
Do you follow him on Twitter?
I do follow him on Twitter. So I'm still keeping in
Just
touch
send
with
him
what
a
he's up to.
PM.
Maybe I will send him a PM. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll get his attention.
The thing with him is that he's busy because he's got
He
a
is
family
busy,
now. So I
legitimately.
don't know if he has the time. But
Right.
he was very good at it too.
Yeah, he is great at it. He still does. It's just that he can't really you can't talk about it as much as he used to because he doesn't have the time. But he does still make references to what he's up to on the gambling side of things. And what else was I saying? We did have him last year for an NHL preview spot, and he was amazing at that. That was really good. I think, or maybe it was trade deadline. He was doing a trade deadline segment with us, and that was fantastic. He still knows the sports. He still hasn't really lost a beat, even though most of the stuff you see on his Twitter isn't really about sports. But he's fantastic. He really is. And so I look forward. Hopefully we can get him on at some point. And I'm not, in fact, on his shit list. We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough. All right, Tom. Well,
You can send me a text and let me know if he follows you on Twitter or if he blocked you.
Well, here's a good question. I don't think he blocked me, but I think, because I can still send replies to him, but I think Oatman, either because of the Rangers playoffs or whatever, has stopped following me on Twitter, but I'm not.
He stopped following me too.
Oh, he stopped following you? Well, that's
he stopped
surprising.
following me too because I was saying he was being a sensitive baby, which he always is when the Rangers are on. And I and Umar were making jokes, and he got butthurt about it. So he unfollowed me, unfollowed him, and then asked he told me about it, and I'm like, you still aren't following me. And then that second he followed me again, like a week after the playoffs were over.
Yeah,
But,
I see.
Maybe he's upset that you have two Twitter accounts. I don't know what it is.
Nah, I think that was going down before he found out about the two Twitter accounts, but I don't know. I can't figure him out. It's not really worth it. It's not like he's not friends with me or anything. Like, he still responds to stuff I send him, so it doesn't even make much of a difference, honestly. It's
not a big deal, Dave.
It really isn't. I'm too lazy to even figure out whether he actually is unfollowed me or whether he's followed me or whatever. It doesn't really matter at this point. So, by the way, if there had been a Game 7, I was going to link him, and he was going to favorite it because he favorites all of them. I love it. I live for it, too. I love Game 7s. I love posting the Zaza clip. It never gets old. It does not.
Maybe you can get him on to talk about the Rangers now that the season's over. Probably not.
No,
And
not
he
the
probably
Rangers,
wouldn't wanna
but
talk about it.
we do have a working agreement to do a Mets panel at some point during the season. So I will work towards that. He'll agree to it. I don't think that'll be an issue. Again, like I said, that's
Who
why.
are you getting on that?
What's that? We'll probably get
Who are
Ari.
you planning on getting?
Ari and Oatman would be a great start because the two of them are really tight with the Mets. Like, they love talking Mets, so we'll get them for sure. After that, it would be up in the air. Probably I'll reach out to Pitch and Catch, ask him to come on. He might agree to it. Floyd would be fun to have on there too.
Have you reached out to V-Tread?
I'll reach out to V-Tread. I've reached out once to him, I think, and he didn't really respond, so I'll reach out again. Sure, why not? It'd be fun.
Who's another big Mets fan? Ron.
Floyd is another big.
Jared.
Oh yeah, that's right, Jared. Jared, the Jared the Sandwich Man would be a big Mets fan, and he would do a good job on that spot because he's very entertaining. I would look forward to that. So
Kevin Floyd would be very good too.
Yeah, Floyd would be great. Kevin in Torrance would be fantastic. I've talked to him about the Mets every time I meet him, and he's hilarious. He really is. That's a good stuff. That's a good call because he's a realist with the Mets, and that's good. That's good stuff. So
you want a mix of positive Mets fans and negative Mets fans.
Yeah.
I think Ari is pretty positive, right?
I think Ari's down the middle. I think he's so good with the stats. He recognizes when they stink. And in fact, he said this just on this show. He said, it is astounding that they are still in first place. So he was like, they shouldn't be in first place. So that's not a rah-rah positive Mets fan to me. So, but anyway, yeah. I think we'll get the old man, because you'd be in on that. You'd love that. And Ari and all those guys.
I'll tell you this. When I met Ari, I was expecting someone completely different than what I met. I was expecting someone who would be watching the Met game and telling us all, like, this, that, this, and, like, being a, like, major baseball nerd. And he totally wasn't.
Wow.
He was beyond well laid back, just extremely cool, just one of the nicest guys I met. And I'm not the type that would say that if I didn't mean it, but I was blown away by how laid back and cool he was. And the board meetup was great, I thought. I mean,
oh, wow.
It was only me. It was only me, Timmy Russo, Yachts, John obviously, and Ari, and Jerry. Jerry and Piscataway.
Jerry and Piscataway.
But I only saw him for like 20 minutes.
Really?
But
again?
He was there for like an hour or so before I came.
Oh,
I came a little bit
that's
later.
what happened. I got you. Okay.
I came 20 minutes after Yachts or John or whatever, John of Connecticut, whatever you want to call him. I came like 20 minutes after he showed, and I talked to Jerry for a few minutes, but he had to go, so he left like a half hour after.
That's no big deal.
I got there, but I mean, we're gonna go to a Yankee game hopefully. Ari wasn't down for going to a Yankee game for obvious reasons, but maybe he shows. But I was disappointed that a few people did not go to the board meetup when they said they were gonna go, and that pissed me off. And I think that rubbed some other people the wrong way too. I mean, it's one thing if you say from the start, I can't make it, or if you give notice that day, like, look, I can't go, but to say nothing and then not show up, bad job by the people who didn't show. Terrible job.
Terrible,
I mean,
poorly produced.
Poorly produced and poorly produced by you for not showing, Dave.
Don't say that. You know me. I'm every year. It's the even years I go. This is an odd year, so next year.
we did talk about you going to Virgil's and you being there by yourself. I'll tell you this: we were dying laughing talking about that. I was saying how big a dicks everybody was for not showing up, and you're coming from California and no one shows up for, and you invited like 13 people and a single
I made a reservation
showed up.
for 12 people.
Yeah, you made reservations, and you're like table for 13 or whatever, and you're the only one there. We were dying laughing talking about that.
That was funny. It's funny to think about now. I get a kick out of that too.
I would have went nuts if I were you. I would have gone to the board and be like, "What the fuck, guys?" Or as you would say, "What up, fellas? What happened, fellas?"
What happened, fellas? What the fuck is up with this, fellas? You know, I don't know, something like that. Something like that.
It was a good board.
That's funny.
It was a good board.
That's awesome,
out.
man. That I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall listening to that. That would have made me laugh too. That was good stuff.
Yeah, it was funny.
Good deal. So no appearance by the Marquis in this one. Probably.
Oh my God.
Yeah, would that have been something?
Oh my God. Thank God he didn't. No, I'm serious. Thank God he didn't show up because no one wanted him there. Even I didn't mention a couple Quickies was there too.
Oh, Quickies was there.
Great guy too, but even a couple Quickies who is very pro Marquis had to admit at the board meetup that even he had to admit that he is kind of going towards our side with the Marquis scenario, and how it's always all about him, and how when he tells a story, everybody has to shut up and listen to him. If you notice on the board, he rarely ever responds to other people's posts, and he rarely ever talks to other people on the board. It's always story time with Marquis, where he's ranting and raving about something, and everybody's always like, "Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's great. Keep it up." Meanwhile, there's like 90% of the board's like, "Please stop," and we don't want to hear about your mom's breasts anymore, and knock it off, and you're killing the board. And we definitely talked about Marquis a lot at the board meetup, and
right.
I think we came to an agreement that if he keeps this up, he's got to go. But I haven't been on the board of late. I've heard he's been very tame lately, and he's been a good man, and we'll see. But I'd like to hear your opinions on Marquis.
I mean, it's where he's at right now is a little bit of a rough read lately, and I mean, he's always been a little loopy, right? I mean, that's always been his deal, and he's a nice guy, but it's just that it's just been getting out of hand. I think it's just been too much. That's really been my takeaway. It's just too much, and so if he's getting to yachts, that's pretty clear to me. Like, if yachts is not affected by much, if he's getting like, if it's getting to him, then it's pretty serious. So I think. Look, I don't know. I mean, he might listen to this, he might not. It doesn't really matter at this point. I think he's aware of where the rest of us are right now with him, and so.
Look, if he just posted normally and didn't post all this weird shit all the time, none of us would care.
Right.
But like, he's going too far. It's getting to a point where you're worried about him, and you don't want to be on a message board where you're worried about someone and thinking, what the hell is he going to do to himself and stuff like that. You don't want to be on that type of board with people where you're wondering all the time, like,
is he okay?
Is this guy, like, normal? Yeah, is he okay? Is he normal, or is he, like...
I am concerned for him as well. I am, so it just gives you pause to think, because maybe, we don't know. We don't know the answers to the questions, but it definitely makes you pause for a minute to think, I hope the guy's okay. I think that's usually what I'm thinking whenever I think of him lately. I mean, it was funny in the beginning, but it's just that he ramped up the strangeness of his subject matter, didn't he?
Yeah. It's getting too much.
Yeah.
And I don't have much else to say.
Yeah, I think we'll stop there. We will stop there.
Yeah, I don't even post that much. I don't even post that much on the board. So a lot of people are like, "Who are you to say that?" And you're 100% right if you have that opinion about me. I shouldn't be saying all this, and you're right. But I just gave my opinion. I do read the board. I always say I don't, but there's many days where I read the board. Whether it's Andy telling me to read this, or Yachts or Otis telling me to read that, or being like, or Brad making a tweet about the board, or Panther or whoever. But I do read the board. I don't post as much, and a lot of the reason why I don't post as much, and I told the guys at the board meetup, is I don't have as much time as I used to. I can't post while I'm at work.
You don't have an office job, like you're out and about, right?
Yeah, I'm out and about. I can't do one thing. I can only do one thing at a time. It's like a construction job. I can't be on my phone and doing all this while there's 10 guys around me with hard hats on doing shit. It's not that type of job where I'm like Andy and I'm an accountant and I could be behind the desk and do a million things at once. It's not
that's
like
a dream job. I mean, accountants is a good career. I don't think. I think it's undersold how good of a job that is. So that's really great for Andy that he's doing okay, doing pretty well wherever he is. It's a pretty high profile kind of gig in a sense. I mean, you're not literally high profile. You're behind the scenes with the numbers, right? But they're important numbers. They need the numbers. The numbers are important, and doing that kind of job requires precision, and I think we can both agree that Andy's very good at precision, and that's why he excels at what he does.
Oh, and yeah, definitely. And accountants have a great job, but I don't have a job like that.
Right. No, I got your point.
Maybe one day I will, but yeah, but I wish I posted more. And even during the game thread, I go on.
Nah, I'm not on it anymore.
There's nothing.
I'm done with the game thread.
Nothing going on.
I am not on the game thread anymore.
The game thread used to be my favorite thread of the three.
Yep.
That used to be my go-to thread. I used to do my roll call on the main thread and then goes it straight to the game thread. I even started a lot of threads for the game thread. And it was fun. It wouldn't be a ton of posts, but it was a good time. And now, it'd be lucky if they get 60 posts some days. It's a joke. Maybe LT is right, and it's a football board, but I really don't think it's that. I just think a lot of people have other things to do.
Yeah, and
this is
it's
how
not,
message boards are.
The board is just too clunky in today's age to really keep up with a game thread. Twitter pretty much effectively made the game thread useless because
it did.
You could just tweet whatever it is you were going to say, and if the people that you remember from the board are following you anyway, then that's sufficient.
I tried explaining that to Chris a couple quickies, and I think he understood why Twitter is so much quicker and faster and so much better when you're following the game than a message board. And I don't think he totally got it, but I think he understood where I was coming from.
Yeah.
And why people like me, you, Otis, Andy, B-Tread, who tweets a lot. There's a lot of guys from the board who just now tweet when during the games.
Yeah, during the games, definitely. Yeah.
There's a lot more back and forth. On the board, there's only so much you can say. You know what I mean?
Right, and you can actually get other information from external sources during the game, stats and context and things like that. So it really creates a good experience when you're watching a game. So I found that very useful as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's just that's just technology. That's not like a vendetta against anybody or we didn't like it. We're losing the vibe or any of that. That's just technology. Like that's just. It makes more sense and it's easier and it's more effective to use Twitter for the in-game experience than it does to do the same on the board. The board would have made sense about 10 years ago, but today I don't think I really go to game threads. Like I'm trying to think when was the last game thread I went to. I went to one recently. It was just a chat with Leo, so I was like in the LOL Dodgers kind of post, and that was about it.
How was the Rangers? When the Rangers were on, how were the game threads then? Because that would be a good test.
That's a good question because I didn't check. I never checked. I never thought to check. I definitely didn't last year.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it got. But I know people like Otis weren't posting, but
right.
there were probably a lot of Devils fans like RKO and Ron and Leo and a lot of other Devil fans posting during the game thread trying to bring juice, but if you're a Ranger fan, you don't want to talk to Devils fans during the game.
Right.
But I'm sure it definitely jumped a little bit with the post numbers, but I don't think the game thread's going to be great except during football Sundays. I think football Sundays on the board will always be the board. The board will always be the board on football Sundays, and it will always be great. But outside of that, the game thread's weak. It's unfortunate.
Well, it's just time. I think time happens, things change, and just about everything has its day in the sun, and then it recedes. It's happened to everything I've ever come in contact with over the years. The Price is Right. That moment in the sun came and went. Dodger Thoughts. That message board came and well, that wasn't a message board. It was more of a blog. That came and went. And this place, I think the same is happening, and it's not going to go away completely, just like baseball is not dying completely, but its place in the sun, may have been in years and years past, so it just is what it is. Tom, I think that's all the time we've got tonight, but despite your lack of supporting cast tonight, I really appreciate your time, and it was a great spot. So thank you very much for joining us here on the show, and enjoy your weekend with less sports now, but it should be a fun. Oh, Jurassic World! You're gonna go? Have you seen it, or will you see it?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. I'm not a big Jurassic Park guy. I like the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a complete idiot. I like the first movie, but I did not care for the other two.
Okay.
I might see this one, but I'm not going to go out of my way to see it. Entourage, I still haven't seen. I saw. What did I see? That was
Mad Max.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Ted 2. I know you're not a big Ted guy. We
Not a
talked
big
about
Ted
it
guy,
earlier
no.
by text.
Yep.
I didn't have much to say about that because I was working. But my opinion is that Ted 1. I thought it was very good. It's not Wedding Crashers good. It's not old school good. It's not top 10 comedies of all time good, but it's a solid movie. It's got a lot of rewatchability. You can watch it over and over again, I thought.
Okay.
But I think Ted 2 will be funny. My only concern with Ted 2 is that they're doing so many trailers. They're showing all the scenes, all the funny scenes in the trailers. I feel like when I see the movie, there's going to be nothing new to watch because it's going to be like, oh, this is that scene. Oh, this is that scene. I feel like they're showing way too much stuff in the previews. I hope that's not the case, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that can cut both ways, so time will tell. All right, well, enjoy your weekend at the movies as well. Tom, this has been a joy. Have a great week. We will do it again next time. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, bud. Tom in New Jersey on the program with us, and that'll wrap it up. Thank you very much once again to Ari in Philadelphia for joining us in hour number 1. And thank you to Tom in New Jersey for joining us in hour 2.5. Good stuff. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy what's left of the sports year. We'll do it again next. Whoa, wait, hang on, don't give that away. We'll do it again on Wednesday again, but I can't get this right. We'll see you next time.